What it what? This is tape. Yeah, buddy. Hello. Uh-huh. I don't remember them though. You're not on camera. No, I made sure not to put you on the camera. Just me walking. Hey, Sonya. Hello. Hey, Sonya. What's going on, Sonya? It's Wellness Wednesday. We're gonna talk about some wellness. We're always talking about some kind of wellness, right? I want to know how well is everybody doing. And Sonya says, "Hey, Lance Cry," and guess yes, she doesn't want to be on the camera. She doesn't even want her legs on here. You're eating. What are you eating? What are you eating, Sonya? I just got done eating shrimp and grits with some. I didn't do much seasoning, just some sea salt, black pepper, lemon juice, avocado. That's what I mixed in it, and it was really good. Like it was really good. I didn't have to put much seasonings at all, many seasonings at all. It was like somehow sometimes less is more. So less was definitely more, and it was so good. And it's always better. Actually I didn't do it. I my daughter did it, and we just wanted just some, you know, just sometimes you just want like the good old natural taste. So we didn't. That's all we had on the shrimp was lemon juice, pepper, and that was it. And the grits is where we did some smart balance. Of course, smart balance has such a nice buttery taste. And I hope they don't come back later and say smart balance isn't good. But I've always heard that smart balance is, the way the fat makeup is in it is one of the better spreads. So I love smart balance. I love the taste of it. So we did smart balance, the lemon juice, pepper, avocado, and sea salt. A little bit of sea salt. We put a pinch of sea salt in there, and with that smart balance, because smart balance also has like a, it's not salty, like it's not overly salty, but it does give like a, you can taste it. You can taste it. You don't really need much salt when you have like a decent buttery spread. Girl, it was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And Sonya said she had baked chicken, pinto beans, and rice. Girl, that sounds good. Don't be laughing at me eating pinto. Girl, no. Shoot, that sounds good. Baked chicken, pinto beans, and rice. How about lima beans? Do you eat lima beans, Sonya? Oh my gosh, Sonya, I love it. I love it. Sometimes I end up like buying it in bulk because I have it, and then especially like around a holiday, I want to make sure because all I use is the smart balance. Even if I'm going to make like sweet potato pies, I'm going to use Smart Balance when I bake and when I cook. Now, I do use olive oil. I use olive oil and I use avocado oil sometimes. I do use those like if I want to saute something and I don't want the like buttery taste, or it does have like the Smart Balance does have a, like I said, it's not salty. I guess the best way I can explain it is like it's like a natural salty taste. I guess because of the way it's just the butteriness, the butteriness of it. It tastes so good. So you don't have to use a lot of salt at all if you use Smart Balance. And that being said, it doesn't, like I said, it's not overly salty and it doesn't have a lot of sodium in it. It doesn't have a lot of sodium in it. So it just tastes good. However they mix it up, whatever the blend of, however they blend it, it has more monounsaturated fats, and then it drops into the poly, and it has just a little bit of saturated fat. So I love Smart Balance. Sonny says, I love Smart Balance. That's all I use. Yes, I eat mostly any beans. Really? Let's see, what beans do I like? I like kidney beans. I do like kidney beans because uh, now I can't say for sure that I can just eat like a bowl of them. I think I can. I think I can because I like kidney beans in my chili, and I like kidney beans if I have rice, like a bed of rice. I'll put some kidney beans on top of that. Girl, especially Sonya, especially if I'm treating myself to some oxtails. Because see, I don't eat much beef at all. I eat steak, probably pork. I really don't eat. Like I said, I think I told you guys the other day that I'll eat like a pork chop every now and again, maybe like twice a year, if that. And it has to be the bacon, the thin ones. I don't like thick ones. I like thick ones, but I prefer the thin ones more so than the thick ones. So I'll eat those breakfast chops maybe twice a year, if that. And then what else will I eat? Like steak. I haven't had a steak since like the beginning of summer. So I'm down to eating steak like maybe I'll say every quarter, if that. Like every 3 months or so. And then the thing that keeps, you know what? One time steak was cheaper than chicken. One time steak was cheaper than chicken. So when that happened, I picked up a couple of steaks, a couple of T-bones. They were cheaper than the chicken. And I was like, it was a family pack of four. And I bought two of them. I froze one and we ate one, like a day or so after I bought it. And the other pack, I froze it. And I think I ate that. That was the last pack I ate. It was kind of like the beginning of summer. So Sonny says, yes, I eat mostly any beans. Me too. I saute my meats with olive oil. And I think we are on the same page about this. Yes, I know. Yes, yes. That Smart Balance. Like if I want to drop a little bit in some grits or rice, um, I'll do that. And in most anything, like if I saute some veggies, I may put some Smart Balance in it, but it just depends on what it is. When it comes to the veggies, I may do olive oil or avocado oil. But when it's like, if I'm going to blacken some salmon or any type of fish on top of the stove, instead of frying it, deep frying it, most of the times, now I'll treat myself sometimes to fried fish, but I'll usually will saute, like not saute it, but blacken it on top of the stove with the oil. So, and it's really good like that. It's really good. And I just, over, the past few years, all those different seasonings, I just can't. I mean, they're good to a degree, but sometimes people just don't realize that sometimes they over season stuff. Like, I know it can taste good or be good, but sometimes when you season stuff so much, you almost take away from the taste of it. And that's why when we did the shrimp today, I was like, you know what? Just do some lemon juice, black pepper, and sea salt. And we threw, some slices of avocado over there in there. And it was good. It was so good. Sonia says, I swear we think alike when it comes to this. I love only thin pork chops. Yes, yes. or sorted ones. Right, right. I'll eat the thick ones, but I definitely don't prefer those. Hey Tamika, the eating last cry in chat. Hey, how you doing, Tamika? Hey, hey, hey. Sonya says, hey Tamika. Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm so sorry. I hope you can hear me, but this man is on his riding lawnmower and he is like spinning around in the in the driveway. Oh my gosh. He's getting the job done, y'all. He's getting the job done. He is getting the job done. I don't see my little friend today, y'all. I showed y'all the image of him. My little big barker. I call him Big Barker. He's the he's the little one with the big bark. He usually runs out here. I don't see him yet. But he wasn't like the other one. Y'all know that other dog had me out here doing the two step. Bad self. He was a bad puppy. Y'all hear me out here doing the two step. I'm like, what's wrong with you? You ever wanted to bite my shoestrings? He probably wanted to bite me. So, Sonya, have you exercised yet? I see you're eating dinner, so you must have already exercised. Or are you going to do it like 30 minutes or so after you finish eating? Yeah, Sonya, that dog had me doing the two step. I was like, you little bad dog. Like, I know he couldn't have weighed any more than like 15 pounds. He, he may have been 20. He may have been 20 pounds. He may have been, uh, what's a five? I think he was more than a 5 pound bag of sugar. He may have been about 15 pounds. He may have been like three 5 pound bags of sugar. I'm like, what are you doing? Leave me alone. Like Michael Jackson said, leave me alone. He was a bad dog. And the kids were bad too. And the mama telling me those lies. Talking about they didn't know who their dog belonged to. Y'all know who that dog belongs to. Girl, people are a mess. But I'm like, you're not gonna stop me from getting my cool down in. So you guys come across this video. I hope that you've moved today. I hope that you've done something to enhance your mental health. And I hope that you've done something to enhance your physical health. You can even get someone in your house to give you like a massage. Let them give you a feet rub. Do something. Do something to ease your mind, to relax your mind, to just kind of chill out. To just chill out. Sonya says, I'm gonna do it 30 minutes later. Okay, I switched up. You're right. Up this week, I'll be working out in the evenings. Okay, okay. So you're still doing your 10,000 steps. So y'all continuing that challenge. Uh, I think you said you guys are gonna continue that challenge through the month of October. So that's good. And anybody who comes across this video, if you catch this video, if you don't drop down in the chat, just know that we're encouraging you to walk, 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 move, move, move. We're encouraging you to move something. Move, 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 move. Exercise. To exercise to get you 30 minutes per day of cardio 5 days a week. And if you just can't do 30, make sure you get 15 minimum. 15 minimum, not 10, 15. 15 minutes of a brisk walk 5 days a week. And guess what? If you do that, you'll start to feel like you need to increase that. And then just go ahead and increase it. Increase it to 20 minutes. And then go up to 30 minutes. You know, some of us, we're different. So we progress at different levels. Tanya says, I'm due. Oh, yes, 10,000 steps for breast cancer awareness month. Yes. Okay, I got you. I got you. October is breast cancer awareness month. Um, so they really, really, really push people getting their mammograms. If you haven't gotten them already, they push people to, go ahead and get them during this month of October because it is breast cancer awareness month. It is. And a lot of places, a lot of cities have healthcare providers who will, do a free mammogram this month. Free to discount. I'll say discounted to free. Discount to free mammograms for those who, you know, may not have insurance or who may be underinsured or, maybe even if you do have insurance. A lot of places have designated like a few days this month for people to receive mammograms at a discount to no cost. Discount to no cost. And if you can't go on the days that maybe the hospital in your area has designated for it, a lot of them will still do it for uh, no low to no cost if you get a physician's order. So they have days where they'll do it without a physician's order. You have to, I think, register to have it done, and then they sign you up, and you come in on the days that they set for the mammograms to be done. And if you can't make it in that day, I think during the month of October, as long as you can get a healthcare provider to write you a prescription or to order it for you, they will still, see you and get your mammogram. You can get your mammogram done. So that is very important. Sonia says, I go yearly in November. Okay, okay, that's good. So you're the very next month. Okay, so you're coming up next month because y'all know it's October. It's October, y'all. It's going to be like essentially where I mean, you might as well say it's holiday season. You may as well say it's holiday season because every store that you go into, they have Halloween decorations as well as Thanksgiving, fall decorations. And some people have even put out their Christmas trees. And I think most of us say, wow, it's so early, but not really. I think it's a good time to put out Christmas trees in October, for those who kind of procrastinate anyway. At least when you go into the stores, you'll kind of be reminded in case you need to buy, new decorations or more decorations. If you need to restock, you go into the stores, you'll be reminded when you see the decorations. And Halloween has become one of the most celebrated holidays during the year. So many people have Halloween parties, get-togethers, fall festival, and things like that. So a lot of people are already having their fall festivals, especially for the kids and stuff in school. A lot of people are already having their fall festivals, and a lot of people will kind of incorporate their fall festival into their Halloween um, activities. It's a perfect time for you, Sonya. Yes, it's like I know it's October, and we probably think, well, we won't see Christmas decorations. Oh, I think he's a little that noise is still that way. We won't see Christmas decorations. They don't look. Some people, I guess, don't really start thinking about putting them up until like right before or right after Thanksgiving. But October is the perfect time to start seeing them and to start getting them. You know, to be reminded because a lot of people decide at the last minute that at first they weren't going to decorate and then they decide, you know what, I am going to decorate. Have you guys ever been that way? Thought that you kind of you weren't in the mood at first, didn't think you would be doing any Christmas decorating, and then the next thing you know, it's like all of a sudden you're in the mood. You're suddenly in the mood and you're out at the stores and you're probably running around more buying Christmas decorations than you are buying Christmas gifts. If if you're someone who buys gifts and you celebrate in that way, a lot of times you find yourself out running around at the last minute, like it's December 10th, and you're like, I want to decorate this year. I thought I didn't, but now I do. And so you find yourself running to the store looking for decorations. Sonya says, I picked my tree up right after Thanksgiving. Yes, that's a lot of people do that. I see a lot of people. My family, we're kind of half and half. Some of us, by the time, when Thanksgiving Day comes, the Christmas tree is up. So it's like they say they want to celebrate a whole full month at least. So when we're depending on whose house we're at, which one of my aunts or cousins, they'll already have their Christmas tree up and everything. And then we'll celebrate Thanksgiving. And then there he is, y'all. There he is. And then at the end of the night, we'll decide if we're going to pull names or, because it's so many of us. We have to pull names. We pull names. We have to. Oh my gosh, y'all, that is a motorcycle. It's so loud. The music is so loud. There he is. I thought I missed him. Look at him. Hello. He gonna probably he'll probably fuss at me some more. Look at him. Look, I'm usually coming from the other way. I'm usually coming from the other way. I passed by and he wasn't out here. So now I'm coming back this way and he caught me. He caught I'm coming back, he caught me. Yep, he caught me, Sonya. He caught me. He wasn't out here at first. Oh, that lawnmower. I'm gonna turn around because there's that lawnmower again. He's on the back. But yes, I he sounds like he is don't doesn't he sound mean? What you saw him the other day, right, Sonya? You saw I'm telling you, he probably is not even 10 pounds. He might be 10 pounds. He might be. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like right at 10 pounds. Is that music too loud, Sonya? I'm just not hearing that music. Let me turn it down a little bit. Yeah, he's right. Maybe if I had to guess, I'd guess about 10 pounds. So I moved it down a little bit. So he's probably gonna fuss at me again because I'm just gonna turn around and go back that way. But yes, y'all, I hope that you guys have you know, did some brain exercises. Sometimes we have to exercise our brain. I think I talked about that last week. Read, read. Do crossword puzzles. Do Sudoku. Big Kane was in here, and I was trying to think of what the puzzles are when you do it like a crossword puzzle, but it's numbers instead. So yeah, do Sudoku. Sudoku. Look at his tail straight up. Sonya, she said he's mean. There he is. You see him? How much does he weigh? Okay, okay. I told him. I know at first I said no more than 15. And I looked at him. I said, oh no, he might be 10. He might be 10. So he says he's about 14 pounds. So so we were close. We were closer the first time. I thought he was maybe like 15. He says he's about 14 pounds. So he's so loud. So you see how little he is? And he's so loud. Oh my gosh, he has a strong bark. He has a strong bark. So yes, guys, do some mental, exercise your brain. Exercise your brain. Um, do some mental, do some things to exercise the mental. Exercise the mental. Exercise your brain. Do crossword puzzles. Do hand activities. Dexterity. Increase the dexterity of your fingers. Do some of those type of things. Do some you know, some do some weight training. Light, 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 especially if you don't normally do that. Do some lightweight training. Um, Walk, of course, walk. If you don't do anything else, walk around your home. Walk around the block 2 or 3 times. Walk around your yard. If you have a big yard, walk around your yard. If you don't want to get outside, walk around the inside of your house. I've done that before. Have y'all ever been I've been like, okay, I don't feel like going outside walking. And I don't feel like getting on the elliptical. Yeah, I'll just walk around in the biggest room in the house. I just walk around several times, circles, circles, circles for like same thing, like 20 to 30 minutes. Um, when I cool down sometimes, like before this summer when I started just kind of going live to do my cool down, I would just walk outside in front of the house or up and down the street. Or if I didn't feel like going outside, I just walk around the biggest room in the house. Yes, Sonny says I read a book today. My childhood friend writes novels. You should check out her novels. I'm reading one of her novels now called Red Wine Blues by Savannah Garrett. Okay, Savannah Garrett. Savannah, are they on Amazon, Sonia? Does she have a website or are they on Amazon? And not just me. You guys check out Sonia's friend. She says that she has a friend that writes novels. And right now Sonia is reading Red Wine Blues by Savannah Garrett. So please support Miss Garrett. Go and check out her novels. I have a basement downstairs. It's big. I walk there sometimes. Yes, right. Sometimes that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Just walk around the biggest room in your house. If you don't feel like going outside, and don't think that that doesn't help. Don't think that that doesn't work. It is on Amazon. Okay. Okay. Don't think that that doesn't help. If you don't feel motivated to get up and go outside, or you don't feel motivated to get on the treadmill, just think about it. Sometimes we walk back and forth in our houses anyway, so much to, I know some people will say, well, I walk so much in the house, that's my exercise. No, what I want you to do is to get the biggest room in your house or to take 2 or 3 rooms in your house and just walk it like you're walking a track. Just walk around it 3 or 4 times. Well, walk around it for 20 minutes as if you're, walking a track, but you're walking inside your home. So, read, do crossword puzzles, do Sudoku. Yeah, I think it's Sudoku. I always mix it up. I always want to say the U Sudoku, and it may be Sudoku. I don't know what it is. I hadn't had it in so long, and I meant to look for it the last time I was in Walmart, and I didn't look for them. It may be Sudoku. It's Sudoku or it's Sudoku. One of you guys correct me in the comments when you catch this replay, or drop down and correct me. Let me know which one it is. It came reminded me of what the name of it was, and I don't know why I can't get it right. But I love, love, love those. And you can do things with your fingers, to just practice your dexterity of your digits, meaning your fingers and your toes. You know, get someone in the house to give you a good foot massage, good hand massage. You can do your hands. You can do both. You can definitely do your hands. I have a few shorts where I'm doing different activities with my hands, and they feel so good. So I use my cousins to do a couple of them. And it just increases dexterity, just like the walking does for, your knees, your ankles, your hip joints, your elbows. If you move your arms as you should, just like what walking does for those joints, use a stress ball or putty or Play-Doh and, just exercise your hands and your fingers. Exercise your hands and your fingers. And of course, anything I'm telling you on this video is not meant to be professional medical advice. It's just meant to inform you of some things that may help me or others in the chat or just others that we may know that are not harmful, but they can help you. But again, if you know, feel like there's something that you may push you as far as push the limits are too much for you, always, always, always check with your healthcare provider. Just the little things that I do with my hands and stuff. I think everyone can do that. Um, Walking, I don't know a healthcare provider that doesn't, you know, suggest everyone suggest to everyone that they should walk at least 30 minutes per day, 5 days per week. At minimum, 15 minutes per day, 5 days per week. 15, not 10. 15. You walk in your basement. Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially if it's big enough. Yes, that's a perfect place. That's the perfect place to walk. Rubbing your hands and elbows are good for increasing carbon dioxide. Rubbing your hands and elbows are good for increasing carbon dioxide. You don't want to increase the carbon dioxide, do you, Sonia? Hold on. You want to increase oxygenated blood flow. Think you want to increase oxygenated blood flow. Tell me, let me know if that's what you mean. You want to increase the oxygen, the oxygenated blood flow. See, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You want to increase your oxygen, You want to increase the oxygen in your that flows through your vessels to your tissues. Check your nail beds. You can check your nail beds, hold them, let them go, and that blood refill should turn pink within like 3 seconds. Shows that's a good sign of good oxygenation, a good sign that you have, it's not a sign to let you know anything medically, you know, as far as like, if you have some things going on, you can talk to your doctor about that. But you can check your nail beds, your toenails, like we were talking about your skin, the tinting of the skin, if you're dehydrated, if you pinch the skin for about 3 seconds and release it, if you're properly hydrated, it should flatten. If you're slightly dehydrated, it may stay elevated. It may stay elevated. So whatever you do, you want to always take deep breaths in and out. And you want to massage your muscles to increase the oxygen flow to your joints and muscles, to increase that oxygen. If you ever look online and you see the blue and red, the blue and red vessels that they have on the human figures, it lets you know which is which. If you ever see the blue and red, blue is arteries, red is for the veins. His phone is, oh gosh, hold on a second. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Uh-oh. I hope you guys can hear me. But if you look in the diagrams, look at on the pics, on the pictures, you know, the deoxygenated is blue, I'm sorry, and red is oxygenated. That's just for pictures though. That's just for pictures. But if you look at your fingertips and things like that, oxygen rich blood is going to be red, of course. Okay, okay. Sonya says, okay, my friend's carbon dioxide was low when her blood work came last month. Maybe I said it wrong. My bad. her carbon dioxide. Well, they do check that. They do check that. I'm I don't know. It can be low. It can be low. I'm trying to remember what you do for that, because it can be low. Most people are usually focused on making sure their oxygen levels are where they should be. Um, because you get into metabolic acidosis and things like that when your oxygen and your carbon dioxide levels get out of whack. So yes, so that may be something, because I don't usually, I tend to see where people, the carbon dioxide is kind of okay unless it's really low. If it's kind of low, they'll tend to watch it. There you go with that music, y'all. They'll tend to watch it. But yes, if her carb, oh, how was it? Was it really low, Sonya? Like, was it extremely low? I've been walking for 35 minutes. I think I'm done. It's dark. I see I've had to start earlier and earlier. You know, I have to start earlier and earlier. Okay, I'm back. The phone rang again, y'all. Okay, I'm back. Okay, but when you look at the diagrams and stuff, they try to, I forgot, they will have blue and they'll have red. So red is your oxygen rich blood and blue is your deoxygenated blood. But some people truly say that they believe that blood starts off blue. I don't know where that came from, but I have seen that in some writings. But oxygen rich blood should be red. It should be red. That's the blood that's gone to your lungs, that your heart has pumped to your lungs to get oxygenated, and then it comes back to your heart by way of the pulmonary veins through your left atrium down to your left ventricle, through your aorta out into your body, and you have oxygenated blood. So yes, I wow, it's I'm hoping it wasn't real low, real low. But you can tell some people say that when they yawn, that's a sign that they need some oxygen to the brain. He says, I don't think it was that low. Okay, her doctor asked her about her sleep schedule. Yes, yeah. And see, that's why I was hoping, because certain things like your sleep schedule. Hey, Annie. Annie says, hey, Lines Prize, Sonya Chat, and happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Annie. Yes, some people sleep. Y'all, we need our sleep. I don't care what anybody says. We do need our sleep. And a lot of times, when I would get checkups, my doctor was like, if I was working evening shift or night shift, he would be like, can you not work day shift? And I was like, well, sometimes it just depends. Like, sometimes I have to work evening shift. And sometimes, I can work day shift. I choose. It just depends on how I feel. And I choose my schedule based on who's going to be there, who who works the day shift at that given time, who works the evening shift at that given time, and stuff like that. And so, when it's not that many people there, you prefer to go to work when it's not that many people there, because it's just so much better. It's so much better. People tend to get along so much better, and all of this stuff. It does. It just works so much better to do that. because it's like when you're there during the day, usually I would think we talked about this before. There are so many people there, and it's just it's a headache sometimes. But I do understand what he means. I do understand what he means. Sonia says, I'm doing dishes and listening. Hey Annie. Okay, Sonia. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully her levels will come up. But that's just the when your carbon dioxide levels are good, that's a you it can be when it's low, it can kind of be a sign of metabolic acidosis. A lot of times I say some stuff and I get a little tongue tied because I don't want to say too much on here because you don't want people to take what you say and to just apply it to any given situation. What you want to do is always talk to your doctor about any situation that you're going through. And if you're going to get something online, make sure that it is an accredited source. Make sure that the source is accredited if you do check it. But yes, sometimes certain things that we're doing that we need to change up and do, especially if it's like mildly low, those just sometimes your diet, your sleep pattern can get those things back in order. Your diet and your sleep pattern can get a lot of things back in order. So as long as it's not consistently low, and it's not extremely low, he's probably just going to tell her to do those things that he's telling her to do and to monitor it. But there are medications that they can give you to kind of get it get it back in check. Sonya says, I understand, don't want to say too. Yeah, it's kind of like, especially when you're in these situations. I remember when I said, okay, if it was low oxygen, that's because everybody kind of oxygen just kind of clicks with everybody. But when you start saying carbon dioxide, eh, that clicks with everybody too. But a lot of times people are kind of thrown when you say the carbon dioxide is low, you know, because sometimes that sometimes a person may get oxygen, assistance with oxygen and things like that. Or you see someone that may be in the hospital for a short period, they may need a little bit of oxygen, or they have like, certain attacks, or they hyperventilate, um, just stuff like that. But when you hyperventilate, of course, you kind of the old thing, you breathe in the bag and all this kind of stuff. So that's why I was like, but what she's talking about is her lab levels. So yeah, that way you don't want to go too much into detail unless you're actually a doctor with a YouTube channel or a nurse practitioner with a YouTube channel, because you don't want to put false information out. And you also don't want people to take information that may not be false, but you don't want them applying it to their situation without consulting their healthcare provider. Annie says, my boss had an anxiety panic scare 2 weeks ago. Are you really? So did he or she was something going on, Annie, and they just had an anxiety attack? Because when you hyperventilate, that's when you have an excess of oxygen, and that's the purpose of breathing in the bag, to get some carbon dioxide in at that time. So because you can be hyperventilated, which hyperventilation is you have an excess of oxygen. I think fresh air will help her. Yes, yes. Sonia says, Annie, that is scary. Sonia says, exactly. Annie said, yes, Sonia, he has been in and out of work since. Really, Annie? So has he been having anxiety attacks, panic attacks? You said, let me see, anxiety, panic. Okay, so is there something causing these attacks? Or does he just find himself feeling anxious and kind of panicky for no apparent reason? Sonya says, Annie, my friend always be having them, especially when she gets around a crowd. Wow. Okay, okay. And something about his heart functioning 20 at 25%. Oh, really? So did he just find this out when he had the 2 weeks ago? that that was going on, Annie? Or has he known about it and he's just now starting to have the attacks? Or did he learn about his heart function when he started to have the attacks, when he went to be checked out for the attacks? I'm not sure the full details, but work has been very stressful. Okay, okay, okay. I hope he I hope that turns around. I hope that turns around for him. And with him being off, I'm hoping that he's getting some rest. I hope that he's getting some rest and some relaxation. Um, that's scary. That's scary when people have, stress definitely can bring on anxiety and panic attacks. Stress can do so much bad stuff. It really can. And that's why I always tell you guys, don't let stressed people bother or stress you. Don't come to this app. Don't go anywhere and leave that place with more stress than you went with. That's easier said than done. That's just like work. You may go into work, you may feel a big relief when you get off work. And then as soon as you go into work, some people have panic attacks just thinking about going into work. It just depends on how stressful it is, how stressful an environment it is, how stressful your work peers are. They can be really stressful on you. So, and it's not just work. There are other things also that can bring on stress. So, sometimes just getting a break, just taking a break from it all can help to start to turn things around. And hopefully things will be turned around for him. Yes, Sonia, stress can cause our bodies to do so much. And says his cousin 40 years passed while mowing the lawn a week prior. So I think that's when it started. Okay, okay. Wow. Mm. Sonya says that is why exercising and eating healthy is important. Right. That is sad, Sonya. That really is sad. And that's why I always say, we talk about exercise and we talk about eating right. And people are like, some people just have the attitude, well, what be will be, but my thing is, if you try to keep yourself as healthy as possible, it's not to say that you can't enjoy things. And it's not to say that you can't slack sometimes and that you have to do it every single day. But to be active is much better than not being active. It's better than being a couch potato. To trying to eat right at least half the time is better than not caring and not eating right any of the time. You know, some things are hereditary. Some things it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how much you exercise. It doesn't matter how much you eat right. If it's hereditary, it's hereditary. And sometimes when you say hereditary, you may say, well, your mom didn't have this, your dad didn't have this. You can't think of any grandparent or aunt or uncle that had it. Sometimes hereditary can mean it starts with the person, you know? Sometimes hereditary can mean it starts with the person. And so whether your parents or grandparents or whoever had it, if something goes on with you, you just want to try to be, as healthy as you can to do the things that you can do so that you can bounce back quicker. Usually if just think about it, if someone's a couch potato, right? And someone else exercises at least routinely. I won't say every day, but routinely. It may be 3 days a week. Um, the person who exercises 3 days a week, they may bounce back a little bit quicker. Not a given fact, but I mean that's common. That would be the common logic. So just when you don't feel like it, just move around. Just move around. I'm telling y'all, my great grandparents always would say if we weren't feeling good, get up. Get up. If you're not feeling good, they're gonna let you rest. But then you go into the second day, they're kind of like, okay, get up and move about, get up and move around, unless you just really need to go to the doctor. Sonia says, when my sister passed away, I couldn't sleep for a while. I'm just getting back into it. Yeah, I mean, people have things like heart palpitations when they get stressed out, um, PVCs, PACs, preventricular heart contractions, pre-atrial heart contractions. Just, sometimes people have palpitations, and sometimes people have those palpitations. when they have anxiety attacks. And mostly most people have palpitations at some point. They may not always feel them, but when you start to feel them, they can, feel scary. They can feel scary. So you have to go and get checked out to make sure, that hopefully it's just, a benign condition. Maybe you need to get you some rest, don't stress as much, and things like that. Maybe change what you do, your daily routine. And that's why I always say, you know, I don't think any healthcare provider is against anybody walking and moving. But if you do have a situation going on, you always want to be sure, just to make sure, consult with them, especially if you haven't already been exercising regularly. If something's going on and you haven't been, don't just be on a do it yourself kind of vibe. Go get checked out and, then talk with them, figure out where you should start, what's good for you, and then go from there. If you don't already have a regular routine. Sonya says, right, could be hereditary. Annie, that's a bad feeling. Annie says, yes, Sonya, I sometimes go and oh wow, an entire day without sleep. Does that make you feel? Because sometimes people don't even feel like they'll go an entire day, but they just keep going. They don't really feel worn out. They may feel a little tired, but they don't really feel worn out. And then one day they're just like they gotta sleep. They just get home and then they just go ahead and sleep. And they've probably been going for like 2 or 3 days with little to no sleep. And then it kind of just hits them, they get sleep. So Annie, when you do that, do you feel tired and you just can't sleep? Like, do you feel sleepy and you can't sleep, or do you not even feel sleepy? Sonia says, Annie, I've been there, still not quite. Wow. See, a lot of, yeah, and see, sometimes, sometimes it's a good thing to, you can go to your pharmacist. Most pharmacies now have like the blood pressure monitors. I think everyone of a certain age, I mean, anyone, everyone, because primary hypertension can start in your 20s. But to just kind of check your blood pressure like at least once a month, and if it seems like it's slightly elevated or if it's slightly low, you know, check it maybe once a week, mention it to your doctor and let them know. And that's really a good thing. I think that, it's been what, 20 years or so now that they've had these blood pressure cuffs, these blood pressure machines in the grocery stores or the pharmacies and things like that. See, Annie says she doesn't feel worn out and she doesn't feel sleepy. So do you just make yourself sleep then, Annie? Or like what do you do to make sure that you're getting, some rest? Do you just make yourself sleep at some point? Yes, 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 because we definitely do. And I do understand now what the doctor means when he says, you know, get your rest, get your rest. Preferably get your rest at night. He's like, try and get up during the day, go to work, do the things that you need to do, come home, try to get your routine. And he's like, I know it's hard, but try to get your routine. Especially when you have kids, if you have small kids in school and stuff, you tend to want to be at home with them anyway. But sometimes your schedule makes you have to work in the evenings. But if you can, he's like, work during the day, come home and by the time you get off work, and you guys eat and you get homework out of the way, hopefully you should be worn out enough to get you a good night's sleep. Hey, kicking it with Lynn. Hey, Lines Pride. Hey, 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 welcome to the chat. Kicking it with Lynn. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. But yes, Annie, we're praying that you're able to, you know, to get some sleep. I'm glad that you don't feel tired or sleepy, but at the same time, you do need to get, some sleep. I fuss at myself. I fuss at myself about that all the time. I was just telling my kids like I need to go to bed. Like even depending on, it could be I have to be at work in the morning. Hey, I'm a night owl. I like to stay up at night, but I know that it's best to sleep at night. And like I said, my doctor, he'll say when I'm working, he's like, "How you been working?" That's one of the first questions he asks. I'm like, "Oh, if I say I've been doing some nights, overnights, or if I say evenings," he looks at me with a funny eye, and he's kind of like, "Go to work during the day if you can." Go to work during the day if you can. And it says, when it does happen, I listen to music or watch YouTube until I fall asleep. Okay, okay. So it's not all the time. It's just it happens sometimes. Okay, okay. I'm glad it's not all the time. I'm definitely glad it's not all the time. Okay, okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. And I think a lot of us go through that sometimes where you just can't sleep. But with me, it's like, oh my goodness, since high school, since I was a kid, I always like ugh, stay up too late. Stay up too late. It's just no other way to put it. I was trying to see how I could put it, but there's no way to put it. I stay up too late. I stay up too late, even if I'm going to work. And like I said, my doctor will say, like, how's it going? What you been up to? The first thing he wants to know is, are you exercising and are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough water? That's what he wants to know. Sonia says, I was finding myself falling asleep in my kitchen, sitting at my island, almost falling out my chair. I'm glad I started getting more rest now. Yes, yes, I'm telling you, y'all, if you don't get enough rest, if you don't get, and and you can get sleep, but if you don't rest, if it's not a restful sleep, that's almost like not getting any sleep. If it's not a restful sleep, that's almost like you're not getting any sleep. It really is. If you toss and turn, it's just like people sometimes toss and turn in their sleeps. They may go to bed at 10 o'clock and get up at 6, and they'll feel like they've only gotten like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, if that, because for some reason, they may not be resting when they sleep. So, you know, just try your best. It's like I said, this is wellness. We're talking about Wellness Wednesday. Try to, think about your brain, exercise your brain. Um, Throughout the day, take you some deep breaths in and out. Read on your spare time. Read. I see a lot of people. I'm not on here as much like I used to be because sometimes you can just read. You can do crossword puzzles. You can do fill in the blank. Again, you can do the number puzzles. You can just do things like that and just kind of exercise your brain. It's kind of like massaging your brain. And also, externally, physically, just massage your brain, get you, get some rest, get enough sleep. And I'm saying this, like, as always, I'm not just saying this to you guys, I'm saying this to myself. I'm saying this to myself. And I always say, y'all know I always say this. When people come across channels where people are trying to be motivational and encouraging, don't always think that we get it just right. That's just not it. My thing is that we see so much on here till you want to see some comedy sometimes, even if you're not really. I'm not big on comedy, but sometimes I'd rather see some funny stuff. I like to watch the couples. I like to watch the interracial couples because they face challenges in this day and time. You know, almost like they did like 40, 50 years ago. Sometimes, especially depending on your location. You know, and it's just I want to just see just more motivational content, more uplifting content. And as always, I always say I'm not a hypocrite. Of course, I love drama sometimes, but I like drama to a degree where it's like, okay, people know when to draw the line. People know when to draw the line. And so what I've just been doing mostly a lot of times is I kind of just say hello in the chat and just kind of watch a little bit. But then next thing you know, I'm doing something else like reading or looking at something on, if I want to watch drama like that, then just watch Netflix, get something on Hulu or something like that. Sonia says, remember Lines Pride, we used to be up all night online. I call myself a night owl, but it's unhealthy. It really is unhealthy for real. And and when I was younger, I worked like 3 to 11, and sometimes I stay and work 11 to 7. When you're young, you can do that, but it's really not healthy then. It just doesn't, affect you as much. I won't say everybody because some young people they don't like to do it either. But they said they don't feel good working overnight. But when you're younger, it seems like you can do it easier. It's just kind of like if you've ever been a person that goes out to a club, You may get off work at 11 o'clock, go home, shower, you're out at 12:15, headed to the club until like 3 in the morning, and then you got to be at work at 7 o'clock. So sometimes, instead of going to work and then heading to the club and got to be back at work, sometimes you may work a double shift. So you work a 3 to 11, you work 11 to 7, and you don't go out to a club. But by the time you get home and get the kids in, you're not in bed until like maybe 1:30. 1:30, because you're trying to like go over some homework, even if they're sleeping. And then you're getting up again. You got to be at work at 6:45, 7 o'clock. So it is best to work during the day hours. And if you can, not to work any longer than 8 hours. I know a lot of jobs are 10 and 12 hours nowadays. Kicking It with Lynn says, I have insomnia. I don't sleep long. I'm up at the crack of dawn. That's why I work days. Yes, yes, that's good to work days. I have insomnia too, but okay, so Kicking It with Lynn, you will go to sleep though. You just get up early, right? So you'll go to sleep, but you just get up really early. See, my thing is, unless I have to be at work, I'll stay up almost all night, and then I'll sleep into the day. Unless I've chosen some day shift work. Sonya says I need at least 7 or 8 hours for real, for real. I'm working on it. Yes, yes, I think so too. Sonya says, Kicking It with Lynn, wow, I don't know what's wrong with me for real. I would love to get at least one good night. See, and so Kicking It with Lynn says she has insomnia. So I'm wondering, she says she gets up at the crack of dawn. So if you're still in here, do you well, she has insomnia though. So if she has insomnia, she's not getting a lot of sleep. I guess she goes to sleep and she can't sleep long. Oh yeah, she did say I don't sleep long. So she'll go to sleep, but she doesn't sleep long. Whereas other people with insomnia don't even go. It's like they stay up all night and then they finally try and get like an hour or two, or however much they can get before they have to start their day. And it says I read or play Family Feud or watch a variety of shows, motivational and non-motivational. Yeah, non-motivational, right. Um, and it's, oh, I did that club shower work. Yeah, yeah, Annie. Some people like go to the club. I mean, they get off work, go to the club, shower, and go to work. Shower and go to work. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Sonya, Tiffany Williams says, Sonya, I'm used to it now. I get about 4 to 5 hours, but I'm not tired when I get up. I'm fully energetic. Really? Have you always been that way, Lynn? Have you always like been able to go off of like 4 to 5 hours of sleep and not be tired? Sonya says, I've heard people say they have to drink just to get sleep. Really? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now I've been at work and had to drink, drink all right, drink a Coke to stay awake. And that's what's so funny. I think because I'm such a night owl, it's like working 3 to 11 or 11 to 7 is okay with me. But the funny thing about it is, as soon as I go into work 11 to 7, guess what? Around 2 o'clock, my butt is sleepy. But if I'm at home at 2 in the morning, I'm wide open. I'm wide open, wide awake. Hickman Williams says sometimes I'll take a nap and wake up and feel like I've slept hours and I could be 15. Really? I see. I know like some of the older people in my family, they would say, when y'all get older, y'all gonna need a nap during the day. They would always tell us that. But they got up to Miss Lynn, they got up to like 4 or 5 in the morning. So maybe around noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, they would take naps and then they would still end up going to bed early. So they would go to bed early and get up early. So I guess technically they were still getting enough sleep, because I can remember like my mom was like that. She didn't need an alarm clock. She would get up like 5:30 every morning. 5:30. If she got up at 5:45, that was a little bit late. It was in time for her to get enough for her to get to work, but it was a little bit late because her clock was just set like that. She would get up around 5:30, and if she got up at 5:45, even though she would get to work on time, to her, she was kind of running behind from her usual routine. Now she would go to bed though. She would go to bed like 9:30, 10 o'clock, definitely like 10 o'clock, because she would watch the news, go to bed around 10. So 2, 3, 4, 5, that's like 7 hours of sleep. So she was pretty good at getting about 7 hours of sleep. Sonya says, kicking it with Lynn, I'm totally opposite. I might take a 10 or 15-minute nap. Yeah, I seen that. I saw that. She's saying she says she doesn't really sleep long, but she does. She says that she's still energetic. Like, so that's a good thing. She's still energetic. She says she gets about 4 or 5 hours and she's still energetic. But if I get 4 to 5, now when I was younger, yes, but now if I have to be, say I have to be at work at 8 or something, and if I go to bed like 3 o'clock and think I'm gonna get up at 7 talking about being at work, uh-uh. I'll be calling y'all. I'll be there at 9. I'm gonna be a little bit late today. Kicking it with Lynn says my doctor says, as long as it isn't causing me any problems, not to worry about it. I got pills prescribed for me, but at most I sleep 7 hours on them. Okay, so even with the pills, you sleep at most 7 hours. So her doctor had said if it's not causing her any problems. And see, that's what I was saying earlier. Sometimes we're different, but I think like when you look at, if you're speaking about the general population, a lot of doctors, they know it's not realistic because it just depends on the job that you have. Some of us have jobs that go 24 hours a day. They don't stop. Some people work in the hospitals. Some people, you may work in the hospital, you may be a gas station attendant, so you may have to work overnights, you may work evenings, you may work days, especially until you get to a point where you have a set schedule. Because sometimes, especially the medical field or the plant jobs, like plant jobs will sometimes rotate. You may be 12-hour shifts and you may be 7A to 7P, 7P to 7A, or you may do the 3-hour rotation, but you still may rotate. You may do 2 weeks on days, 2 weeks on evenings, 2 weeks on nights. So that's kind of my doctor. He cannot stand that. He was like, I know sometimes people have to do it because that's your job, but he always encourages me to work if I can during the day, to come home, do whatever you need to do and just get a good night's rest. He does. I can see the benefits of that. I've talked to other people, and just generally speaking, when I have been able, see what happens with me is that I'm truly a night owl, but there have been times where I will do it for a little while. It's like I can do it for a little while, but then I go right back into my old pattern. Like I can go to bed and get like 7 hours of sleep, and then I'll go right back into my old pattern. I remember one time I had a sinus procedure, and whenever you have surgery or certain procedures, your body will tend to make you rest. Yeah, I've had that procedure, and for like a couple of weeks, y'all, I was going to bed at like 8 o'clock at night, like 8, 9 o'clock, getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning. And I truly, to be honest with you, I truly enjoyed that. Like I really did like it, because I would get up early, get the day started. Um, and sometimes I maybe would take a nap like around noon. Like I was saying, like my grandparents used to say, take you a nap. When you get older, you're going to start wanting a nap. I would take a nap, but pretty much I was going to bed like, I would say 8:39, getting up like around 4 or 5, and then staying up all day and then going back, going to bed again at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And I really did like that, but my body has just always been set to be like a night owl. um, I know, Sonya. I know, I know, I know. Lines Pride. I'm talking about. I know you're talking about that. What you call it? Those spirits. That spirit drink. Sonya says, "Okay, Kingdom with Lynn. I got you. My dad was the same way. He didn't need an alarm. Right. Lines Pride. I don't want to be buzzing every day. Okay. Kingdom with Lynn says, my dad said he was the same way, but he said now since he's older, he sleeps. I would love to sleep 8 hours. My husband can sleep 10 hours and still go back to sleep. Well, look, Kingdom with Lynn, that's how I am. I'm a night owl. Okay, like I can pick my work schedule. So with the days that I'm off, I'm a night owl. Even the days that I work, I stay up late. I'm a night owl, but best believe when I go to sleep, if I don't go to sleep until 4 in the morning, guess what time I get up? Like 1 or 2 o'clock. So I get the number of hours of sleep but it's just most of the day. And as I've gotten older, I now kind of realize when my doctor says, go to bed at night, get you a good, night's rest. I do feel like I want to do that more. I feel like that mentally, and I just feel like physically that's what I need to do. Mentally and physically, I feel like that's what I need to do because of the times that I have gone to bed early and gotten up and I've done, gone about my work schedule or gone about my day. And then I come home. If I'm at home and I don't work that day, I might get a nap in, not too long. I make sure that it's not too long because if I get a long nap, then I am going to be right back into going to bed late. So I might get like 30 minutes to an hour. And then, around 8:30, I'm starting to get a little bit sleepy. 9 o'clock, I try to watch the news at 9 or 10 and then go to bed and get up at 4 or 5. I can kind of work with that. I can kind of, but see, kicking with Lynn, if she works, she says 4 or 5 hours, so she gets up at 4 or 5 in the morning. That means you only have to you go to sleep like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. 4 or 5 in the morning, you're still good. I see. If I get up at 4 or 5, it's not because I went to bed. I can't go to bed at 11. I'm gonna probably go like 9, 10 maybe, and then get up like 4 or 5. It's Annie laughing, and it's Tanya says I don't want to be buzzing. So yeah, I can do that. I can go like 9 or 10 and get up like 4 or 5. And I can do that, y'all. I'll do it maybe for like a week, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit longer. But then eventually I fall right back into my routine of staying up to 3, 4 in the morning. And when I fall asleep, I won't get up like at 8 or 9. I'll get up like 12, 1, 2 o'clock. Like Kigna with Lynn says her husband can sleep 8 hours, 10 hours and go back to sleep. That's how I am. I'm like that too. It's just like I get most of my sleep during the day. I'm like that too. See, Kigna with Lynn says I usually go to sleep about 10. I'm up at 3 or 4. So how many hours is that? Like 5, 6? Yep, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So 5 to 6 hours. So especially if you get up like around 5 to 6 is good for some people. Some people that's enough for them. And some people I've heard like for me when I was younger, 4. If I got 4, I was good to go. I might get a little sleepy, especially if I worked so many days in a row. But if I got 4 and I'm working kind of like maybe 3 to 4 days in a row, then with 4 hours of sleep, I was good to go. But now, if if I get 4 hours of sleep, y'all, I'm grouchy. I'll stay my butt up till 3 or 4 in the morning. 8 o'clock, I hear everybody moving around. That doesn't phase me. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. But if somebody says like, I need you to get up and go do whatever, whatever, I'm like, what? I just went to sleep at like 4 or 5 o'clock. So that's me. It's like 8 or 9. I've only been asleep for like 3 or 4 hours. I can't do that. I need to. I'll get up. I'll call you at 12. That's what I tell them. I say I'll call you at 12. I'll call you. So I really do need my 6 or 7. I'll say I need about 6 or 7. Or like Kicking with Lynn says, if I get 6, if I get 7, it don't bother me to go back to sleep again. Yeah, it does not bother me one bit to go back to sleep again. But I know, as your body gets older, you may not feel older. You may not feel older. And mentally, you may feel young as I don't know what. But it is good for your body to get, sufficient sleep, to get enough rest because you want everything, you not only have to think about how you feel like, okay, I can keep going. Mentally, I'm okay. You still have to think of your organs and you just kind of you want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. And that's what I'm telling you, my doctor is like, work in the daytime. I said, so when he said that the first time, I was like, well, what about 3 to 11 or 2 to 10? I'm telling you, y'all, he just kind of looked at me with the strange eye and said, that's a little bit better. He said, that's better. It's better than overnight, but work in the daytime. He says, if you can, and I understand that sometimes your job, you just can't, but if you can, work in the daytime and establish you a good night pattern of sleep. And so I've been trying to do that lately. I've been trying, but I'm telling you, when I had a sinus procedure done, It's like, I guess when you have surgery or you have procedures, sometimes it's like your body has to recuperate, and so your body is going to tell you it's going to get to sleep. And y'all, I'm telling you, I was going to sleep like 8:30, 9 o'clock, getting up at 4 or 5, and I really did like that. I did. Cause how many hours is that? Like 8:30, 9? Yeah, like eight. I was getting like 8 hours, maybe 9 hours, and sometimes I would even get up like 3 o'clock, and then, and I'm like, okay, because I went to sleep like 8:30, so I'd have like 7 hours of sleep. Kicking with Lynn says, I never set an alarm clock because I always get up before it goes off. See, that's how my mom is. That's how my mom was. She would kicking with Lynn, she would get up at 5:30. The latest she would get up was 5:45. And if she got up at 5:45, she felt a little bit behind. Like she wouldn't be late for work, but she kind of felt like that 15 minutes. It's like sometimes she just gets, I guess her body would just, allow her to sleep like that extra 15 minutes. But her usual time would be 5:30. And she didn't need an alarm clock. She would set the alarm clock, but like you, she would usually get up before it goes off. Sonya says, girl, if you don't come, girl, who, Sonya? Oh my gosh. Who got their stuff on the floor, Sonya? Keegan Lynn says, if I'm sick, that's the only time I sleep. I sleep for days, but that's hardly ever. See, yeah, so I guess like when your body's, needs to recuperate and you need to get better, then it'll sleep. It'll make you sleep. It'll tell you, it'll let you know that you'll get more sleep. And so, yeah, after I had like I said, a sinus procedure done, it was like, okay, I was like, I like this. I like getting up like this because it just seems like, I'm telling you, y'all, I like staying up late at night, and then uh, I won't get up. Like I said, it's not like I'm gonna go to bed at 4 or 5 and only get 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I'm gonna get about 7 or 8 hours, but I'm just sleeping into the day. And then when I get up and get myself together on my off days and get out, especially this time of year when it's gonna start getting dark so much earlier, it's like I'm running trying to, do the things that I need to do. Cause I still go and pay my bills. Like I don't like to do the online bill pay and stuff like that unless I just have to. I don't really like online bill pay. There are some things that I do pay online, but for the most part, I like to go and pay my bills. And I like to just go and, handle my business. Or if you have an appointment or something, you have to get up. Yeah, I set my appointments for like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Sometimes I'll go ahead and do like 8 or 9, usually like 9, because I already know that I'll probably won't have gone to sleep until like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then once 8 o'clock hits, I'm all grouchy and I'm groggy because like I'm not like kicking it with Lynn so she can get that 4 or 5 hours and she's up out of there and she's energetic. I go to sleep at 3 or 4 o'clock and then I gotta get up at 8. It's like uh uh. It's like I'm like, geez, what was I thinking? That's why I say, y'all, I'm like, what was I thinking? Kicking it with Lynn says, have you ever been really sleepy and lay down and can't go to sleep? That's me sometimes. Really? I think now kicking it with Lynn, when you're like that, do you feel like you're fighting it, or is it just that your body you just won't go to sleep? Because I have been really sleepy before, and it seems like I just won't sit my butt down or just lay down and go to sleep. It's like, oh, I got to get up and do this, or I got to get up and do that. I find things like just trivial things to do. It's almost as if I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it or something. Like, do you feel like you're fighting it, or are you fighting it, or are you just can't go to sleep? You're just sleepy and can't go to sleep. Because I can see it either way. Because I have been like that. Like, actually, I was like that today, y'all. I was so sleepy today. And I was like, ooh. I was like, as soon as I get home, I'm going to bed. I'm laying down. I hadn't laid down yet. And I'm not sleepy now. But I've done that before. I'm really sleepy. Need to go to sleep. can go to sleep at home, but won't go to sleep. I'm still trying to find out who stuff Sonya's throwing in the trash. Sonya, whose stuff are you throwing in the trash? Why have I left this comment up here for so long? Girl, sometimes you can leave a comment up for so long and forget it's up there. And then you go down in the comments, y'all, and you can't even find the comments. I'm glad it has this little hide the current comment thing because I could not see that comment. And I'm telling y'all, I don't like leaving people's comment up for so long. But sometimes that'll make you not even go into a chat because you notice that it seems like people will leave your comment up for like 30 or 40 minutes. And I'm like the same way you put my comment up, do you not remember to just like switch it out or just click off of it so that nothing's up there? Like, I don't like what. Why do people do that? Especially in certain chats. You're like, nah, because when they're having certain discussions, your comment is just sitting there and they're having a discussion that you're in the chat being cordial saying hello, but then they're having a discussion where they may be popping off on somebody. I'm like, take my comment down because I'm not doing that right there. Because you know how people can be. Your comment isn't saying anything. It's the person who's doing the live that's talking, but still people are just like sometimes people just look for reasons to be upset with you. Sonia says, I took some allergy pills. I slept good. I was scared because I don't want to get addicted to sleep medication. Oh, well, now if I have a cold or something, I'll take some Benadryl. I will take some Benadryl. But I've never felt like I was never afraid that I would become addicted to it because I just don't. You know how you have a certain mindset. Like, I get what you're saying, Sonya, but I just don't. I think your mindset, I don't think you would. I really don't. I don't think you would. Kicking it with Lynn says, no, I be wanting to go to sleep, but once I lay down, it goes away. Okay, I got you. I got you. Maybe my body just wants me to relax so I don't get it. So I just lay there. Now, I've done that before. I have done that before. It's like I had to be at work recently at like 6:45. And y'all know I could not go to sleep. I had to be at work at 6:45. 2:45, I was still up. So there was no way I was going to be able to get 4 hours and get there on time. So fortunately for me, I didn't even get sleep at work that day because I just laid there too. I just did that too. Keelan, I just laid there and I just got rest. So had I gotten up and just been moving around and stuff like that, and then said, "Okay, let me go ahead and get ready and go on to work," I probably would have gotten tired. I probably would have gotten sleepy. But I just laid there. I laid there and I got rest, and everything was okay. So sometimes I guess as long as you do get a sufficient amount of rest, because like I was saying earlier, sometimes you can sleep but your sleep is not restful. So if you're asleep and you're tossing and turning and you're getting up every few minutes, then you'll be just as tired as if you didn't get any sleep at all. Sonya says, "Me too, Lunch Fry." I'm like, you know what? Yes, it's just I don't think your mindset would I get what you're saying, and I've heard other people say that like they don't like to take allergy medications or certain types of medications because they don't want to get addicted, or pain medications because they don't want to they don't want to become addicted. And I feel like some people can be okay taking them because it's just their mindset. They have a mindset of they're already afraid that that can happen. So they set their minds to like, they have the mindset that they don't want to become addicted and they don't. Now, that being said, most people who have become addicted didn't want to, especially when it's like prescription pain meds and stuff like that. They were probably really going through something and they really truly needed the med. And because of that, they did become addicted. But usually most people don't truly want to become addicted. And if you have a mindset that I'm just going to kind of tough it out because I don't want to do this, or maybe you take the Like if they prescribe you something, a narcotic, you probably say, well, look, I'm going to just try and see if the ibuprofen and Tylenol can help, because you don't feel like those are going to cause an addiction. So yeah, sometimes it's just, if you're afraid that you're going to become addicted, you try your best not to take those things. But again, having that mindset, you probably won't anyway. Kicking it with Lynn says, now Sonya, I took some Benadryl before, and babe, I got some good sleep, but I can't take pills like that every day. Ooh, kicking it with Lynn. I'm telling you, that Benadryl. Mm-mm. And see, and that's the thing. I know that Benadryl, I don't know about for everybody, but for a lot of people, you just take you, and you can get the children's dose. Like sometimes just a little teaspoon, the little measuring cup that they have, maybe 5 to 10 milliliters. You could take that and you'll sleep so good. And you not, because I've done that before, but I didn't feel like I had to have that to go to sleep. Um, and like right now, I'm trying to get a better sleep pattern to sleep longer at night instead of sleeping you know, sleeping longer during the day. I don't, it's like I have no desire to try Benadryl to do it. Even though I've had Benadryl before, I don't have a desire. Kind of like Sonya was saying, she doesn't want to take certain meds. But sometimes I just think it's mindset. If you have no desire, like I have no desire to to take Benadryl every day. Like what Lynn says, oh my goodness, couldn't do it every day. Unless my insomnia was just to the point where I was just every day only getting an hour or two of sleep or something like that. Sonya says, kicking with Lynn, that is what I had, Benadryl. Who child? Kicking with Lynn says, now when I'm asleep, I'm asleep. I don't toss and turn, but if I get up and go to the bathroom, it's a wrap. I'm up. See, that's what I was kind of thinking. Like, with you, Lynn, you probably, when you do sleep, even when you get 4 to 5 hours, you probably get 4 to 5 hours of good restful sleep. And Sonya says, okay, because that was the best sleep ever. I'm telling you, when you take Benadryl, yeah, it will cause drowsiness and it'll cause you to sleep. And especially if you're not feeling good anyway, you got a cold or something like that. Yeah. Sonya said that was the best sleep ever. And see, Sonya, you took it. And even though you feel like that was a good sleep, you still have no desire to take it every day like that. So a lot of times it is mindset. And a lot of times it's just depending on what the medicine is and what you're taking it for. Because again, like God forbid, if someone has some type of, back pain or, knee pain or something like that, they truly don't want to become addicted. But sometimes just because of needing to take it, people may. But hopefully not. Hopefully, you know, you can kind of alternate and not use the heavy meds as much. Y'all look at Kicking It with Lynn. Now, somebody wake me up out of my sleep, then I'm like, I'm a real grouch. Yes, I have a Kicking It with Lynn. My attitude is so bad. See, I'm telling y'all, like I say, I always come on here to try to be uplifting and motivational. That don't mean we good all the time. I'm telling you. And what makes me the maddest is those who know you and they do it. If you come and wake me up out of my sleep. Now, of course, if it's important, wake me up, wake me up. But if you come and wake me up out of my sleep talking about you want breakfast this morning, like I'm like, could you not have just bought me some breakfast? Like, I don't care what it was. Could you just, because once I get to sleep, I'm sleeping good, and you wake me up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so grouchy. I'm so grouchy. Okay, Annie. Annie says going to take my shower. Be right back. Okay, Annie. I may be gone, but hopefully I might still be here. I might still be here because we had a good conversation going on. Because y'all know what I say all the time. We over here dropping nuggets. We're trying to pick up nuggets. We're trying to see what helps. We're trying to figure out of the things we do in life to help us, whether it's the small things or the big things. What do you do to help you? That can probably help somebody else in the chat. That could probably help somebody else in the chat. And see, like talking. Like with Lynn saying she can get 4 to 5 hours, and as long as it's a restful sleep, she's energetic and she's up. And you can tell because a lot of times when she's walking or when she's gotten off work and she's doing stuff, she's just as energetic. You can even see, you can tell, you can just tell through the video. She's not sleepy, she's not tired, she's energetic. She is. Or she's like the conversation is like how do you what do you say? The conversation is perky. Like she's you can tell she's not, and she'll be like, I just got off work, or I got off work, or sometimes she's headed into work and she doesn't seem sleepy. She doesn't seem tired. When he says he'll wake me up and ask me where something is and ain't look for it. And look, oh my gosh, Lynn, they act like you just a demon. They act like you just a demon. And I'm like, you know me. You know me. Do you not know me by now? You know me, and you wake me up like this for this? Oh my goodness. I'm like, wake me up. You know I don't care. Wake me up if it's important. But what ticks me off is like if it's not important and they wake me up out of my sleep, and then it's like I can't go back to sleep. So I'm grouchy for hours. I'm grouchy for hours then. And I'm like, it's your fault because you woke me up for that. Like you said, for something that they didn't even really look for. But then when when certain things you may say, well, why didn't you wake me up? They have the nerve. Well, you know how you are when somebody wakes you up. I'm like, I just want to, y'all know that fist emoji. Pop. I'm like, okay, it makes me so mad, y'all. It's like, you know how you are when I wake you up. Okay. So when it's something that you really don't want to ask me about, that you should ask me about, you won't wake me up. But when it's something that you really don't have to ask me about, you wake me out of my sleep. Oh, that right there. I'm Oscar the Grouch. I'm Oscar the Grouch. Because I'm like, how dare you? Oh, it just throws you off. It throws you off. And I'm already on this crazy sleep pattern, and then you just woke me up. And I probably don't let me have fallen asleep like 4 o'clock. Okay, I can remember looking at the clock and it's like 3:50 or something like that. And then here you come waking me up at 7, asking me something that you really didn't have to ask me. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then later in the week, I may say, well, who did this or why is this way? Well, I didn't know, so I didn't want to wake you up. I'm like, I roll my eyes so hard. I just roll my eyes. Sometimes I'll cuss. I'll roll my eyes so hard. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? But that not looking for something that just that grinds my gears. Like that just like you didn't even look for it. And now you're mad at me because I'm mad at you. What the heck? Yeah, Sonya, that's all you need. I'm telling you, that's all you need. That's probably all you need. I won't say that'll work for everybody, but that's what I go to. That's my go-to. That's what I go and get. But like I said, that's like if I have a cold or if my allergies start to act up, I'll get that because it'll make you sleepy and drowsy. So if but it works so much better than a lot of the other allergy stuff that's on the market. So I'll just take just a little bit to kind of just knock out the sneezing, or whatever's going on, just kind of knock the sneezing out. Or if I have a cold, just kind of knock the sneezing out, I go straight to the children's section. King Lynn says, I tell him, don't ever wake me up, and I don't sleep long. Mad all day, literally, especially when I'm in a good sleep. Okay, you mad all day. And look, they going on about their business. They going on about their business. They're not mad, but you still mad. Because they know better. They know better. It's worse than like when you have kids will make you grouchy, but they're kids. But these big folks, These grown folks, oh my goodness. I can remember I can remember when my siblings and I we were kids. We would always wait for our parents to be asleep, especially my mom, because you ask her something when she's asleep, most of the times she's gonna be like, mm-hmm. And then and then when she gets up and whatever it is, if it's something that's sufficient enough that she noticed, or if it's something big enough that she notices, she'll be like, well, why did you do this, or why did you do that, or who told you to do this? And you be like, Mama, I asked you, you said yes. And she'll be like, you asked me when, and she already knew what we was going to say. You were sleeping. And then she go in. Didn't I tell y'all don't ask me nothing when I'm sleeping? If you need something, if it's important, wake me up. And wake me up, because what it is we didn't really wake her up. We it's that slight wake up. It's like, mama, huh, huh, mama, can I do so and so and so and so? She may ask a question, or sometimes she might just say, mm-hmm, or she won't ask the 20 questions as if she would if she's wide awake. She may say, yeah, go ahead, or something like that. Or mom, can I get this or whatever? It may be her favorite thing in the kitchen. And she's like, I don't care. And she goes in there later on in the evening and it's not there. Who ate my y'all? It was like the yelling was worth it. The yelling would be worth it. Keely Lynn says, I done took medication, all that it don't work. I take really trazodone 100. When I take them, they don't give me the sleep I want to get like normal folks. See, some people say that like when they take that, they go to sleep, but it's not really like a good sleep. I guess it's not restful for them. Hey, Spiky, welcome to the live, Spiky. How you doing? How you doing? Happy Wednesday. Hey, Spiky. Yes, I've heard people say that they take anywhere from like 50 to 150. So that 100 is kind of like the middle, I think, for trazodone. And they say they sleep, but they don't like I had one friend that took it and he said it kind of he slept, but when he woke up, like he had slept for a sufficient amount of time, but he still had like a hangover effect. Oh, melatonin doesn't work either. Wow. So see, Keelan Williams says sometimes I ask him, "Is the house on fire?" Then leave me alone. Let me sleep while I can. Yeah. Look, Lynn, they think that you're so grouchy, and I'm like, but you know me, and you already know how I am. You know what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. Once you say whatever you have to say, I'm going to be like, you couldn't make that decision, or you couldn't wait until I wake up, or you didn't know what to do, or you couldn't do that. Now, of course, if it's important, wake me up. I don't care. Like I don't care. Wake me up if it's important. But when it's this stuff like you said, then they didn't look for something, or you wake up and go right to it, or it's like they may sometimes they can wake me up and I'm like, okay, I can go back to sleep. Like you said, if they wake you up, it's over with. With me, I'm kind of half and half. I think it depends on how much sleep, how deep my sleep is. Like if I'm just falling asleep, kind of been maybe 15, 20 minutes, I can go ahead and, get back into it because I hadn't gotten into my deep sleep yet, into that REM sleep. But so I'll go ahead and I'll go to sleep. But if I'm in my REM sleep, that good sleep, and you wake me up, I'm mad as fire. I'm mad as fire because I've gotten into that good sleep. And now it seems like even if I've only been in that good sleep for like 30 minutes to an hour, well, you woken me up now. So you've woken me up. So I'm awake now. I'm awake. It's like just that hour and a half. You kind of just like you broke it. You broke my sleep. You broke my sleep. Spiky says melatonin works for her. The melatonin works for you, Spiky. Spiky, do you sleep? Like how long do you sleep, Spiky, when you take it? Sonya says my husband is mean as a lion when when he is woken up from his sleep. My daughter is the same way. See, Lynn says one lady told me maybe God wants to talk to you in them early hours. I get up. Maybe God wants to talk to you in those early hours. See, and a lot of times, a lot of times people do, they wake up early like that, and like Kicking with Lynn says, she gets her 4 or 5 hours of sleep. She's energetic. It's like you just have a pattern, and some people really do take that time when they get up that early. They talk to God. They meditate. Some people they exercise. Now I do when I do exercise in the mornings. That's so funny because when I stay up late like that, I will exercise like really early. But when I do get a good pattern and I'm kind of going to sleep like 10 o'clock, 10:30, I'll get up like on my off days and I'll exercise like 5 or 6. But I have to get into those patterns. Otherwise, it's just like when I'm kind of just all over the place. I'm not really all over the place. I'm just going to bed really late and getting up late. So if I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a 4 o'clock night. This is gonna be a 5 o'clock night. I'll go ahead and exercise then. And once I'm done exercising, I'll get in the shower, and that does help me sleep. You know, it's still into the day, but it does feel better. It does feel better. Lynn says I get up and pray and talk to him and get my day started. Yes, yes, and that's good. That's good. That's a good pattern. That's a good pattern. Get your 4 or 5 hours as long as it's good restful sleep. Get up, you know, pray, talk to God, and then you're on your way. You're on your way. You get your day started and come on back. Do what you have to do. Once I get up and started, I'm okay. Cause like I said, I've gotten enough sleep. It's just that I'm going to sleep like 4 or 5 o'clock a.m. and then I'm getting up at like 1 or 2. And I could have done so much during that time. But I get up and I get started at 2 o'clock or whatever and get out and get going. Spiky says, laugh out loud, Sonya, I be out for the count with that melatonin. Really, Spiky? Sonya, a lot of people say that. I think sometimes when you get things like that, a lot of times it's the maker of the product. Like some people like may try melatonin and it just does nothing for them. They probably tried 2 or 3 different brands and it just does nothing for them. Then you have people who may try brand A and it doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work. But then they try brand B and it works wonders. They find a third brand and it may kind of be in the middle, kind of, they get enough sleep, but they get sleep a little bit more than usual, but they may still not feel like it's enough. So a lot of times it's funny how brand name matters sometimes. Sometimes you can get the generic brand and it's better than the name brand. Sometimes the store brand is better than the name brand and sometimes not. But it's really funny how people are so different that way. Like Tylenol may work better for one person and another person may be like they feel like they have to have Tylenol, the Tylenol brand. And you may have someone else who can get whatever Walmart has on the shelf, whatever the Walmart brand is, whether it's Great Value or one of the other brands that they have that's not really a big name. And some people are like, that works just well for them. You get up at 4. Spiky says she usually gets up at 4. Spiky, sometimes I'm going to bed at 4. That's terrible. That's terrible. Sometimes I'm going to bed at 4. That's terrible. And it's so funny. That's why I guess I'm just glad I've been able to make my own work schedule. Because there are days when I go to work and I start to get sleepy when it's almost time to go home, or like in the middle of the day, and I just get up and get busy. And then sometimes I'll come home and get a nap. And oh my goodness, if I get a nap, I'm definitely probably going to be up to 2 or 3 in the morning. Yep, if I get a nap, I'm definitely probably going to be up to 2 or 3 in the morning. So I've got to, y'all. I've got to. No, it's not. I don't like. It's not terrible, but I just want to sleep better at night and get up. Like if I'm off work, I want to get up at like 7. So even if I go like to bed at 11, then 7, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock is good. I want to stop this staying up because even some days when I don't get a lot of sleep, like Annie was saying, some days she could go with little to no sleep for a couple of days. Even when that happens, it seems like I always end up catching up during the day. And yet again, I'm up late at night. And I think it's just because I've always been that way. But what I really would want to do is to start going to sleep like 10:30 so that by 11, I'm kind of falling into a good sleep and then get up like maybe 5, 6 o'clock. 5, 6 o'clock. So like if I'm into my sleep at 11, so that's like what, 6 hours? No, that's 7 hours. No, that's six. That's six. That's six, 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 six. 6 hours if I get up at 5. It's 7 hours if I get. So okay, so that's 7. That's good. So if I fall asleep like at 11 p.m. to get up at 6, yeah, that's 7 hours. That's good. Cause I try not to have to be at work at like 6:45 often. I try not to. Spiky says that 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. shift is no joke. Oh my goodness, it's like the getting off at 2. I would like that, but getting there at 6. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But when I do that, like I said, I'll get up and exercise. That's when I'll do my exercise in the mornings. Sometimes I can't do it for as long, but I tend to try to at least get 30 to 45 minutes in, and then shower and get out of here and get to work. So oh, that's six. That's six. Oh, that's 6 o'clock is something else. Cause Spike, I'm thinking 6:45, but yeah, 6 o'clock. That's a lie. Cause I'll exercise from like 5 to 5:30, or maybe 5:15 if I hit the snooze button. 5:15 to 5:45. Shower, grab something to eat, and then head to work. But that's 6 o'clock. Oh my goodness, I would have to get up at 4:15, 4:30, exercise to like what, 4:45, maybe 5 o'clock. Jump in the shower and jump out running. Kickman Williams says that's what I work, Spike. I love it. Really? Okay. Kickman, you work 6 to was it 6 to 2? Okay. Okay. And see, because oh my goodness, you're a morning person. You're a morning person. Oh, I'm I'm trying to find a happy medium for me. I'm trying to like, I figure, okay, 10:30, 11 o'clock, take your butt to bed. You've been up late enough, go to bed and get up at 6. That's 7 hours. If I can get into that pattern, I'll definitely have to like exercise every day during the evenings. Yeah, I have to exercise because I have to get up at 6 and jump in the shower, jump out, and then head to work. Spiky says, I just like having the rest of the day to do stuff. Yes, right. That is a good time. I have a cousin, he worked at a plant, and he worked his hours were 4 a.m. to 12 noon. 4 a.m. to 12 noon. And he loved it. He loved getting off at 12. He didn't like having to be there at 4, like 3:45. I think he said they had to be clocked in like 3:52, something like that. 3:52, 3:53. And so, and they would get off at 12. And so that way he could like, have go to practice and stuff, football practice with his son, with my little cousin, baseball practice, all this kind of stuff. Now, that said, like sometimes he'd have to leave the games and his wife would stay, till the end. And sometimes, most times he tried to stay till the end because, the kids, they usually get done, I think like 9:30, 10. And so he would have to rush home though and just, go to sleep from get like from 10 till 2, 10:30 to 2:30. He would get him like about 4 hours. And then 2:30 to like what 3:15, he'd get ready and then he'd go to work because his work was probably like a 20-minute drive. So when the kids were having sports, he'd try to stay until the end, but he definitely tried to get home and get to sleep around 10:30, no later than 11 o'clock, get up like 2:30. But that, at least that wasn't all the time. It was just kind of what, depending on whatever sport they played. But if it was volleyball with his daughter and stuff like that, they finished a little bit earlier unless it was a tournament. So some people really do enjoy getting up early, getting the day started at work early, and then getting off early so that way you don't have to ask to be off for like dental appointments, doctor's appointments, and things like that. Spiky says she loves it. I just, yeah, having the rest of the day. Sonya says, oh my God, um when we had snow, I was getting up at 3:30 to get ready. I had to shovel the driveway. Oh my goodness. I remember you telling us that, Sonya. Spiky, I did those hours for 20 years. Wow. Speaking of what Lynn said, Spiky, me too. I got the rest of the day to do whatever or nothing. Yes, yes, that is a good shift as far as things like that. Because like I said, you can make your doctor's appointments. Like if you get off at 2, you can make your doctor's appointments for like 2:30, 3 o'clock, maybe 4 at the latest. Most doctors' offices close at 5. So you can just pick a day where they have a 3 o'clock slot or a 4 o'clock slot. Spiky says, I'm just now doing those hours. I usually do second shift. Okay, Spiky. So you usually do like 2 to 10 or 3 to 11. Spiky, I don't like second shift. I feel like I'm missing out on stuff. I know that's right, Kingdom with Lynn. The only reason I like it is because it was usually more quiet. Like the administrative staff is gone, and it's like the depending on who you work with, it's more like a family environment. But if you're at home with your family, that's the best. Of course, that's the best. But that's the one thing I do. That's what I really love about second shift. Like the supervisors, the house supervisors, all these people, administrative staff, they leave around 5. So for 6 hours, you don't have to deal with them because they're getting out of there like 4, 4:30, 5 o'clock. But other than that, I really do prefer to go ahead and go to work and come home. Go to work and come home and have the rest of the day. Spiky says, Lynn, yes, same here for real. 2 to 10 usually, Spiky. Okay. And Sonya laughing at Miss Lynn. Yeah, I feel like that too, Sonya. It's like I wouldn't like getting up being at work at 6, but I would definitely love getting off at 2. So look, you gotta roll with the punches. You can't have it your way. You can't have everything your way. You want to get off at 2, you gotta go in at 6. Quit complaining. Quit fussing. Like my cousin would do that 4 to 12, and it was always dark when he went to work. It didn't matter if it was spring, summer, winter, or fall. It was always dark because he had to be there at 4. Because sometimes, like right now, we were talking yesterday about the clocks are about to fall back. So when the clocks fall back, people who get off at like 5 o'clock, it's gonna be dark outside. It's gonna be dark, and it seems like before you know it, it's time to go right back to work. Until you get used to it. Until you get used to it, it does. It's not too bad when starts to get dark early. You get off at 5 o'clock, and it's like dark outside. That first couple of weeks, because I've had 9 to 5 before too. That first couple of weeks, it may be a little bit of daylight still, but definitely by 5:30 it's dark. Spiky says 9 to 5 is a good shift. It is 9 to 5 is a good shift. The only thing about 9 to 5 is if I have an appointment, I have to make it at 8, and then you never know how long it's gonna take, to be seen. Like you go to the dentist or to the eye doctor or something, you make it at 8, and you may not get out of there until 9. So you still end up having to like go in an hour later or something like that. And then you can't do anything after 5 because Most offices close at 5. You know, Leah says my husband likes second shift. We work opposite shifts. I like that too because I get my meat. Come on, Miss Glenn. Come on. I know that's right. I be like, party, party. I be like, it's a party, it's a party, it's a party over here. And it's nothing bad. It's just that you need your me time, just like they need their time. We need our me time. They need their me time. It's nothing bad. It's nothing wrong with that. I think everybody needs their me time. And that I love it like that. You go one shift, they go the next shift. As long as as long as everybody's home like around 11 or 12, I'm good. But I gotta sometimes people they get on these rotations where you have to do days, evenings, days a month, evenings a month, nights, or days 2 weeks, evenings 2 weeks, and nights. Oh, I love that. I love it. I love it. Because if you're on the same shift, it's like y'all coming home at the same time. And it's like, where is the me time? Where is the me time? Sonya says, if I work 9 to 5, I would use paid personal days. Yes, but Sonya, look, I be trying to save all of them. Look, I try and save them all up so that when the holidays come, I can just use them in and just have a check and don't even worry about it. But I love a job that gives you like paid time off. They give you so many sick days and or vacation days. It's like usually paid. It's going to be paid time off or vacation. It's going to be one or the other. Then you get so many days for sick days, and then if you don't use them, you know, just depending on your job. Sometimes you can take them during the holidays, and sometimes not, depending on if they need staffing. But hey, take them during the summer. Take them and travel. Take them and travel. Spiky says, me time is good. It is. It is. I think we all need it. I think we all need it because sometimes you just get, it's not so much that you get overwhelmed. You just need some time for yourself. I'll keep talking the past couple of weeks about the 4 letter word self, SELF, SELF. And, you know, there are a few times when self can be a negative, but we want to think about the positive things: self motivation, self encouragement, um, just you don't things like self entitled, nah. But selfish, you could think of it as a negative word, but not always. Because sometimes, like I always say, we extend ourselves for everybody else except self. Or if we do it for self, we're kind of making sure everybody else is okay. So sometimes selfish is good. Sometimes selfish is good. Selfish the right way, selfish in the right sense is good. Sonya says, I love my me time. My husband always gone. He is a truck driver. Sonya, I remember you were going with him. Have you slacked up on going with him? Because you haven't said anything about you guys being on the road lately. Yeah, I cannot believe I've been on here for 2 hours. I cannot believe I've been on here for 2 hours. Hey, look, anybody that came through here and y'all stayed up there in the bushes and in the skybox or wherever you were, please subscribe if you have not subscribed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hold down my doorbell, better known as the YouTube notification bell, and come on back over here. If this wasn't the conversation for you, then bring us some ideas and we can have good old grown folks conversation. We can have conversations to motivate each other, to uplift each other, to encourage each other. See, put self in front of all those words. Put self in front of all those words: self motivation, self encouragement, self uplifting. So self can be is a very, very important word. Self entitlement, be careful with that one. Okay. Self respect, another very important word. Okay. Selfish can be negative, but can also be positive. So make sure you use it in a positive way. Lynn says, I can't sit under him all day like that. It irritates my soul just because I enjoy being by myself sometimes and I won't miss you because you're always there. Oh my goodness. It's like I don't know. It seems like when you're up under them like that, I just can't. Like understand, and I don't think they want to sit up under us like that. I don't think so. Like I truly understand. I get it. I get it, Keaton and Lynn. I get it. Cause it's like, with me, sometimes I have my times where I just wanna just 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 me time, just me time. Like that's the only way I can say it. Just me time, just time to reflect, time to think about what I want to do tomorrow, what I want to do later today, what I want to do. You know, think about just think about life. Just think about things you've done. Think about things you want to do. We were talking about goals over the summer. Think about vacations you would like to take, if it's the Lord's will. Just think about things that just get some just to unwind, just to unwind. Sometimes you just want to unwind. You just want to think about you just want to think about yourself. What can I do for me? What can I so that's that in that sense, selfish can be a good word sometimes. You want to treat yourself sometimes. What can I do for me? Because it seems like it's so easy for us to always think about what we can do for someone else. Sometimes we just have to stop and take a minute, get us some me time. And that's every day. I think we all need some me time every day. I don't think it needs to be every so often. Of course, it can be every so often, but I just think for a few minutes throughout each day, even if you have to do it at work, just go somewhere, sit in a quiet place, maybe on your lunch break, and just enjoy nature. You don't have to, it doesn't always have to be so detailed, but again, you can think about things you want to do, places you want to go, people you want to see, some new goals, or just just anything. Think about going home clipping your toenails. I mean, you can just think about anything, but you want to do it. You want it to be just you, yourself, and you. Does that make sense? You, yourself, and you. Yes, ma'am. After I gained 20 pounds, I had to take off for a while. Okay, okay. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Cause yeah, I can see where that can contribute to that. Over here, it's always, yes, it's always peace, positivity, and prosperity. And we always say that over here because everybody, even me, even you, even those of us who say it, we may not always be having peace, positivity, and prosperity. Because y'all know what I say: peace, positivity, and prosperity. Without peace, there tends to be chaos. Without positivity, there tends to be negativity. Anywhere you have a ground of chaos and negativity, you fail to prosper to your fullest potential. Not that you can't prosper, but you probably won't prosper to your fullest potential. So it's just peace, positivity, and prosperity. Three P's. And sometimes it just takes you to have that me time to gather some peace, that me time to have a positive mindset, and that me time will allow you to prosper. Kicking it with Lena says, my husband be all over me, and I don't really like that all the time. I appreciate it, but I'm not built for that. I need my me time. I don't like to feel smothered. Yes, that's the key word, smothered. I think that's what it is, kicking it with Lena. It's not that we don't appreciate it. We greatly appreciate it. And at the end of the day, for me, I would much rather have someone that does appreciate me like that, but I don't want to be smothered. And I don't want to smother him. You need your me time, and they need their me time. And sometimes, maybe people get that misconstrued, and they'll tend to think that that means you don't want to be around them. But if they know you and they know your personality, they should accept, and they should be okay with it. It's just that a lot of people just don't want to be smothered like that. And I think sometimes when it comes to men and women, I think sometimes men think that we do want to be kind of smothered. Not all men think that way, I don't think, but a lot of times men think, because I'm so used to hearing men say, "Oh my gosh, she just wants to be up under me, and I just wanted to hang with the fellas for a few hours." Like I do hear men say that sometimes, but then when they come across someone who's like, "Okay, go ahead, go ahead," it's almost like they're taken aback. It's almost like they're taken aback. Yeah, go ahead, because while you're over there with them, then I can be over here doing this. You know, So, and then get whatever time you need. You do what you do. I get whatever time I need, and I do what I do, and then we can, come together, have a meeting of the minds, and come back together. Have a meeting of the minds and come back together. So yeah, I just always, anyone who comes across this video, guys, like I said, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you would like, if not, just come back. Come back. Give us some conversation. Give us some topics. I still have to watch Imitation of Life. Brilliant hasn't been in here this evening, but I still have to watch Imitation of Life. I still have to watch it. I'm going to see if I can find it on YouTube. I'm going to find it somewhere because I'm going to watch Imitation of Life. I don't know. I may even do a different channel. I might just create another channel because I don't, I know you can do the commentary and you can talk about movies and show little clips and stuff like that, but I don't want them bothering my channel because I show too much of something. I don't want them doing that. So yeah, we want to talk about Imitation of Life and talk about the mother-daughter dynamic, especially I think all mothers and daughters can identify with so many different dynamics that moms and daughters have, no matter what your race, creed, or color. It's still that mom-daughter relationship. But with Imitation of Life, you had extra that extra, it wasn't a barrier, but that extra component that, the mother was obviously African American and the daughter passed for white. So imagine that. We saw the movie, most of us saw the movie, and we saw how sad it was. But, imagine that back in that day and time, having to try to navigate through the world like that, try to navigate with a child who didn't want to be seen with you, and then even if the child did want to be seen with you, just having to navigate the through life with people looking at you guys like, because that young lady truly could pass. So now we see so many biracial children, till you would think it doesn't matter, but even in 2023 you have people who look at biracial children, you know like they're weird or something. People are crazy. People do the most. um hey, Debbie Steven says, hey, Lunch Pride and everyone. Hey, welcome to the live. Debbie, how are you? Glad to have you in the live. We've been on here for 2 hours, Debbie, and I can't believe it, but we've been having some good conversations. So we've been talking about sleep. We've been talking about getting some oxygenated blood. We've been talking about if your carbon dioxide is too low, look up some things to do to kind of increase that, to kind of help you. We've been all over the place. We've been talking about looking at Google and looking at how they have the human body drawn with the blue and the red. Everybody knows that your blood is red, but trying to figure out, just for educational purposes, which one is blue, which one is oxygenated, the blue and red, which one is oxygenated, which one is not. We talked about having some me time. We talked about sleep patterns. Yeah, we've been all over the place. We have been all over the place. And I do truly enjoy this live. I really do. Because I feel like we can do that. We should be able to just wing it. Sometimes you want to just wing it, but you always want the things that you talk about to be informative, entertaining, educational, uplifting, and things of that nature. You do, because it makes you feel better about the experience that you have on here. Kingdom Lynn says, I don't text him when I'm away from him or call because we need that space. Yes, unless I'm out of town or something going on. But yeah, I'm not into all that. I gotta talk to you when I'm away from you. Yes, and it's like sometimes, I used to kind of feel like a little bad or a little guilty. But then I'm thinking, no, I think everybody needs that. Most people, not most people, but a lot of people, they're just they can't stand to be smothered. That was the best way to put it. And it's not to say that it's a bad thing, but it's just not your thing. Like, it's just like I compare it to, like, say someone standing over me. Like if I'm at work, if I'm sitting down and someone comes and stand over me, I pull back and say have a seat, or I stand up. Like I can't stand that feeling. It's just a feeling of just, I don't know, it's almost kind of claustrophobic, but not claustrophobic. It's just a smothering feeling. Smothering is the right word for it. And that's how it can be with relationships sometimes. And then, and it's probably like that sometimes with our kids. Our kids, we smother them. We maybe not in our eyes so much as growing up, but y'all, when our kids get to that age where they can kind of get away from home a little bit, not that they're not still living at home, but when they can kind of get away from mama and daddy some, I bet that's the best feeling in the world. And it's so funny how they get away and they do their thing, and now they're adults. They can come and go as they please. But guess what? When they become full grown adults, they start to kind of come on back home a little bit. They're stopping by the house. They're hanging out. What you doing, mama? Daddy, what you doing? And they want to come on back around you. See, Debbie speaking to Sonya. Sonya says, "Hey, Debbie." Kicking it with Leah says, "I don't need that, and we cool like that." Yes, yes. You just have to get that understanding. You have to get that understanding. And most times when you explain it, people realize. I think sometimes it can be a problem when people expect you to be like they are. If you have a spouse or a significant other who expects you to feel how they feel, instead of kind of stepping back and respecting that you have boundaries. And the boundaries don't mean anything negative. They just mean, especially when you're talking about, like we were talking about, me time. It just means you have to have that time for yourself. And a lot of times it's best that you have that time for yourself. See, Sonya says, "Hey, Debbie." Debbie says, "Hey, Sonya." Kicking with Lynn. I know, right? Lynn says, "This girl at work called her boyfriend every break. And I heard him say, 'I'm trying to work.'" See? See, a lot of times that's why I say a lot of times they kind of expect that of us to be that way. And I think some men are kind of surprised when we don't have to, when we're not clingy like that. Debbie says, "Beautiful avatar lines pride." Thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much. I've had this avatar forever. I love it. I really do love it. I thought about changing it, but I love my avatar. I really do. Sometimes when I do it, well, back months and months ago, sometimes when I would do a live, I would kind of change it for the live, but I always keep it. I always keep my YouTube avatar because I just love that avatar. I love the color. I love the lion. I just love the jewel in the crown. I love my avatar. Debbie says, "I really need space from people, space in my home. Yes, decor space when sitting with people, just space. Give me 6 feet." I know that's right. Give me 6 feet. Right, right. Give me 6 feet. And y'all, through all what we've been through the past, couple of years, since 2020, do you know more people seem to have felt like they had the right to invade your space more than ever? More people seem to have felt like they could invade your space. I've always had that give me my space. You know, we're talking about relationship wise, definitely, but just out in the community, out in the public, at work, at stores, things like that. Like, don't come stand right on my heels, and I won't stand on yours. Don't come stand right next to me if it's not my children, my family, don't, or my nieces and nephews, don't stand next to me. You don't need to be within arm's reach of me. Like, give me my space. I've always been like that. But it seems like the past 3 years, people seem to have wanted to invade your privacy more. They like invade your space. And Kicking with Lynn says, "Right, Debbie." Debbie says, "Perfect avatar." Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. That's laughing at what Debbie said. Yeah, people, they seem to have wanted to invade your space more over the past 3 years, more than ever. Lynn says he was irritated. He said, "You call me every break. What do you want?" I just chuckled. I know. And see, if she decided, okay, like say tomorrow she decides, "I'm not gonna call him tomorrow," he'd be so shocked. He'd be so shocked. And he probably at first would kind of, he probably, even though he was annoyed, he'd probably be like, "Hey, what was going on? What was wrong? Why didn't you call?" But still, there would be a degree of shockness. He would be so shocked. Sonya says, "I know, right, Lines Pride." David says, "Kingdom with Lynn, you too, huh?" Yes, y'all. It's like, don't stand over me. Don't stand like right next to me because I want you. I won't. And some people, they just don't. Sometimes I think it's like, I don't know, maybe it was the way that they just, and sometimes people don't always mean any harm. I don't think that they do. I think sometimes it can be, just a matter of how you were raised or geographical, locations. Sometimes people are just not really polite. They reach over you, they stand next to you, they reach in front of you and things like that. And then you have some areas where people are like, "Oh, excuse me," before they even just think to reach. That it's like, "Excuse me," or they stand back and they just give you a few minutes. And unless they just can't wait, they'll still say, "Excuse me." That's how I am. I'm like, I'm not going to reach over you. I'm not going to stand over you. And if I really need something and you're in that space, I'm going to say, "Excuse me, can I get here?" or something like that. But you have some people, y'all, and like I said, it seems like more than ever over the past 3 years, they just forgot about personal space when we were supposed to be practicing distancing. Sonya, I really do. Might be an age thing. It might be. It might be because I was raised that way, like to not crowd people. Don't overcrowd people. Don't give people their space. And if you feel crowded, take your space. Take your space. When someone stands over you, let them know, "Hey, can you stand back?" And why would that offend anybody? We're all human and we're all different. We have our different ways. We were raised differently. And even if you weren't raised that way, there are just ways we acquire through life, through experiences. And sometimes it's just the way you feel. Sometimes, mom didn't teach you, dad didn't teach you. Sometimes it's just the way you feel. Your aunt may be that way, or it may just be you. But I feel like people should be able to respect that. They should be able to respect it. Debbie says we're magnetic. People are attracted to our energy. Yeah, but we have little to give at a certain point. Right, right, right. Yes, especially when it's like, strangers or coworkers. That's my thing. My coworker, they'll like, I know a couple, they'll just come right up in your face. I'm like, back up. Like, give me my space, please. And this was way before. I've always been this way. But like I always say, we are human. And you guys know that sometimes people can be a little ornery. They can be a little ornery and they do things that they feel like will tick you off, or they do things to get a rise out of you. And they'll come, if they'll know, just like we were talking about, our husbands and our significant others will come and wake you up, time you go to sleep for nothing. Don't really want anything. They could have solved the problem. And as soon as you go to sleep, they come and wake you out of your sleep. And then you're grouchy and you're grumpy because they're waking you from your sleep. Well, sometimes people, you have your ways. You have to respect people's ways. You can't always chalk it up to them being mean. And sometimes they are mean. Sometimes people are mean. I'm mean. I'm mean. Like I always say, accept your flaws and own them. I am mean. But and I don't know why. My one of my aunts said, "You've always been mean." She was like, "You were in the grocery store and the lady um she squeezed your cheek like in a playful way, and you took off and you found her in the grocery store. The lady walked off because when she did it, I got mad or whatever, and I didn't react then. But I thought about it, y'all, and it just brewed. I think I was like 2 or 3 years old, and I went through the grocery store and I found that lady, and I hit her, y'all. I hit her, and it was so funny. Like my aunt laughed and laughed, my mom laughed. They said the lady thought it was so funny because she was like, "I guess she didn't like me squeezing her cheeks." Well, back then, people weren't so, I was a toddler. I didn't know any better. And my mom was the type, don't touch my child. But, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes you let some people kind of slide. And she may have been a little older or something, but my mom wasn't upset about it. And my auntie was like, "Girl, you should have known we weren't going to let anybody do anything to you." But I'm like, I'm not thinking that way. You know that you were going to let anybody do something to me. I wasn't going to let anybody do something to me. And I was 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old. And it wasn't even that. I think I was just mean. I was just mean. I was just mean. And it's so funny now when I see other little kids who are mean. Debbie says, what's it? Yes, Debbie, I like to eat alone. Folks say, "Can I sit with you?" No, I go to my car on my break. Okay. No wonder they laughing at Lynn. She said she go to her car, y'all. She ain't trying to eat with nobody. I work with you. I don't want to eat with you. I know you be wanting to break. That's what it's called. Your lunch break. It's your break. It's your break from work. It's your break from your peers. It's your break from your coworkers. They laughing at Lynn. She said, I've always been this way for the most part. I roll solo if I'm not with my family. Yes, yes, yep. It's gotta be Sonya. It's gotta be because they was like, you so mean. Like, and I try not to be y'all because I'm saying you gotta acknowledge, you don't have to acknowledge it. A lot of people don't acknowledge it. Some people are just like, I ain't mean, I'm just that way. Well, for me, I've said that for years. That's just me. Like, leave me alone. But I do kind of think it's mean. I'm just mean. Like, I don't know. I think it's because I have these boundaries, these boundaries. Like, don't touch me. If I don't touch you, don't touch me. You know, that kind of thing. If I don't touch you, don't touch me. Even if it's in a nice way. Like, okay, perfect example. Sometimes people love to put their hand in your hair, right? Don't do that. Cause see, now I may have just washed my hair the day before. Now you put your hand in my hair. Now I gotta go home and wash my hair. And best believe you're gonna know how I feel about it. Debbie says we may be loners. I don't know, but my space is so peaceful. Yes. Yes. Keelan Williams says, Debbie, if I let folks sit with me, I hear their whole life story in 30 minutes. Look, they just want to talk to Lynn. They just want to talk to you. Sometimes you can be like that, y'all. It's like the person will see you as somebody that they feel they can talk to, but you're saying this in your mind, like, oh my God, why me? Like, let me eat. Let me have my peace. Let me have my space. But sometimes though, I don't know, I feel like that, but sometimes I'm like, okay, you try to be your brother's keeper to a degree. And if it's something that seems like it's really weighing on somebody, I try my best to be an ear, to be an ear. Of course, to people who are close to you, but sometimes a person who may not be close to you will come and sit right by you. And there's something about your aura, there's something about you. You may know how you are, but they may not. It still may be something, some reason. To them, they may be feeling like God sent you there, and it's like they may be at their wits' end. And even though they may not even really know you, you just may have a demeanor that they may feel like they can talk to you, and they'll just start talking to you. And I try I try when it seems like it's like that's the case. But oh my gosh, I'm like, on my lunch break, unless it's somebody I really really do like, and we get along really well at work and stuff. I'm trying to eat. I'm like, leave me alone. Or I'm trying to talk on the phone. I'm trying to do my thing. I'm just trying to get me a little me time at work. Y'all know how, just like we saying, we have to have some me time. Sometimes you have to have some me time at work. So I just want to get some me time at work. Sonya says, Debbie saying here, Debbie says, so true, Lynn. Sonya's laughing. I know, right? Like I care. Oh, Sonya. I know. I try not to be that way because I ain't lying, y'all. I be mean. I be looking mean. Like, and then there's some people that'll sit there and they'll be like, you look so mean. And they'll still start talking to you though. So you know what? I try to look at it as like, okay, if I look mean and they still talking to me, maybe they feel like I need to talk to somebody. Maybe they feel like I need to talk to somebody. So I try to be more tolerant. I guess that's what it is. I try to be more tolerant. Debbie says releasing all that energy into us. We are sweet people. Right, Lunch Pride. Unless it's somebody I really like or haven't seen in a while, then I am hooked. No. And it's like I try to, because people are so finicky these days. And sometimes people's intentions are not good. Sad to say, a lot of times people's intentions are not good. But I try to be my discernment. My discernment is usually pretty good. And even if I'm not really feeling that person, sometimes your discernment will let you know if maybe you need to listen. Maybe hey Alex, how are you? Welcome to the live. How are you? How are you? How are you? Brazil, you're from Brazil? Welcome, glad to have you. So, sometimes even if you may not be in the mood, sometimes And even if you come off as not being in the mood, sometimes something will tell you, no, listen, or don't be that way, or they need to talk. Sometimes discernment will tell you. Your discernment is your best friend. Y'all know I say my elliptical is my best friend, right? And it is. When it comes to trying, it won't lie to me. The numbers tell me what they are, unless the battery is low. It's not going to lie to you. But the best friend that you carry around with you mentally, your discernment is everything. Your discernment is everything. Lynn says one girl asked me to pray for her like right then. I was like, okay, but I was wondering why. She asked me. They saved my aura. It's so calm and peaceful. Yes, and sometimes, like you said, like, I feel like I can be mean, but maybe when people are going through things, maybe they don't even see it. Like say, like I've said, people are saying like, "Oh, you look so mean. Why you look so mean? What's wrong? Why are you mad?" Like stuff like that. But to someone else who really needs, for some reason, they may be really going through something. It's like they don't even see the meanness. They don't see the mean look that somebody else sees. They don't see the mean look that the 10 people who just spoke to you saw. And it's just they see something about you that makes them feel like they can talk to you, or it makes them feel more comfortable talking to you. And they may have never even met you. They may have never even met you. Or it could be, like I said, like in the workplace. Sometimes when we're at work, we get to learn our coworkers. We get to learn each other. And people can be like, um, she got her ways, but I don't know. And then sometimes if you see someone, even though they may feel like you're mean, or like you're not one to really have a conversation, and then one day you see them looking just kind of down and out, and you approach them. Sometimes you surprise people, and just you approaching them, especially with them thinking that you're not the one, sometimes it can just cause them to open up. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you for welcoming Alex. Yes, Alex, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming through. Yes, strange men tell me I look mean. I am not mean. I get told to smile a lot. I have to laugh every time. Oh my God, it used to get on my nerves so bad, Debbie, when people would say smile, and I'm like, I do smile when I have a reason to smile. Like, do you want me to just walk around with a smile just on my face, just like you know, you know, like, oh my goodness, like, oh my, when I was younger and I worked at fast food, oh my gosh, I worked at one fast food place, and the manager got on my nerves. Like, of course, you're supposed to greet the customer with a smile, but when you see hundreds of customers during breakfast, you're not going to be smiling with every customer. You're just not. If you are, you're a good one. If you are, you're a good one. Sonya says people always ask me why I'm always happy. Sonya, they like, you look so mean. They always say you look so mean, and sometimes you're just not in the mood, and sometimes it's just your look. Like, yes, it takes more frowns to smile. They say, I mean, to frown than to smile. Either way, you're going to get frowns. And, if you got to do one or the other, I would say smile. But sometimes you're just plain faced, if that's what it is. Like, sometimes you're just plain faced. You're not in the mood to do either one. Frown, smile, you're just chilling. Sometimes you're just chilling. Debbie says, yes, people are attracted to us and people drain our energy. Then we need to recharge our energy. Right. Some days we give off as stay back energy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Lynn says, I make everything they say at work make sense. So they all come to me. Okay, okay. I make everything they say at work make sense. So they all come to me, and I'm not the head person in charge. See, see that and see the head person in charge probably they're probably glad, because they're probably glad to have you. Hopefully they're not the envious type. You know how some people can be so envious, of just, they can be envious of the good, just like, they can be envious of things they should appreciate. I'll put it that way. They can be so envious of things they should appreciate. People aren't just envious of the things that you have or the accomplishments that you've made. Something as simple as people being able to talk to you on the job and not going to them. People can be envious of that. I'm like, does it make you feel like maybe you're not approachable and you shouldn't have that position? Because otherwise, with me, I'd be glad. I'd be happy because that's a help. That's a help to me. Lynn says the head person come to me. I kid you not. She's not. See, she's not envious. She utilized me. See, I'm telling you, a good person, shoot, they'd be glad to have you. They'd be glad to have you. They really are. They're glad to have you. A good person would be glad to have you because it helps take the load off them, or it makes them feel not so weighed down. You know, and then that makes you as you look good as a peer, a co-worker. You know, it does, and it makes them look favorable on you. You know, and that can be a blessing in many ways, in many ways on the job. See, Julia said I take a job. Sonya says sometimes I can have that resting bee face like Rihanna. She got that not today facial expression. She does. It's so funny. They make so many memes out of Rihanna's expressions. Yeah, see, right, Lynn. Sometimes people they're like, oh, and that's not your aim. That's not your goal. That's not your mission to take anyone's job. But sometimes people just they feel it. There's an aura about you. There's a vibe about you, and they want to come talk to you. Or it may be job related. They always come to you. They may see that you pretty much can handle your own. You know what's going on. You can you make things a little bit easier. Maybe you explain it in a better way, and so they come to you. So she can utilize that as in a good way, or she could think, "Ooh, I might need to watch her. She might take my job." But it's a good thing that she utilizes you. The thing, just make sure she utilizes you, but doesn't overutilize you, because people can become overwhelming, especially when they see that you're a good asset. Oh my gosh, you're a great person to have. You're a good resource. They can become overwhelming. Next thing you know, they'll be telling people, go ask Lynn. Did you check with Lynn? And Lynn, you'll start looking like, what? 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 Now, it's one thing when they come to me. It's another thing when you start sending them to me. We need to start talking about pay increase. We need to start talking about some incentives. We need to start talking about some bonuses or some something. Y'all, it's 2 hours and 32 minutes. I thank each and every one of you guys for spending some time with me. Y'all know I gotta get out of these clothings. I have to take a shower. And I'm gonna see if I can go to bed at a good hour so that I'm off tomorrow. So I'm gonna see if I can go to sleep like 11 o'clock and maybe get up like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock. I'm gonna see. If I go live again, y'all will know it didn't work. But I do truly appreciate you guys coming into the live, spending some time with me, having conversation. We've been all over the place. I've enjoyed it. Um, TNT family didn't come into the live today, but again, we're still sending her good vibes and prayers. She has a situation going on. I think is getting resolved. So thank goodness, thank God for that. So still sending TNT family good vibes. Just praying for all of us, each and every one of us and our family members. You guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, a great rest of your hump day, and have a great, it's Thursday. It's almost Thursday. It's almost Thursday, y'all. You know, we've been saying all summer. These weeks have been flying by. We are officially into fall. We're out of September. We're into October. We're in the holiday season. We're honestly in the holiday season, everybody. We are. So I don't know if you like to decorate and all that. Y'all, if you haven't started shopping, if you need to shop, you better get started, unless you're just going to do gift cards, gift cards, gift cards. That is an easy way out. I'm telling you, gift cards, gift cards, gift cards. Let them do what they want to do. Gift cards and money. But for those of you who do like to get the tangible items, go and find you something. Better start ordering now. Start ordering now. I've been seeing the UPS truck more often. I've been seeing the US Postal Service running a little bit later. I've been seeing FedEx, all these people, all these delivery people. So yes, I've been seeing these people, y'all. It's October. What's today? October 4th. The summer has flown by. It's the holiday season. Y'all be safe, be careful. There is some stuff that's kind of out there. We're going into, flu season. So just take care of yourself. Distance, distance, distance. Um, do whatever it is that you do for you and your family to try and make sure that you guys stay safe. Again, thank each and every one of you because you could have been anywhere, whether you were multitasking, you spent a few minutes, if you've been here the whole time, if you've been here for a minute, 10 minutes, an hour, or the whole 2.5 hours, I do greatly appreciate you. And remember, don't let bothered people bother you. Don't let stressed people put any more stress on you than you can handle. Don't go into areas which and leave with more stress than you went with. It doesn't matter if it's on this app, any app, your job, any brick and mortar, any place that you go. Try. It's easier said than done, but try not to leave with more stress than you went in with. Don't let bother people bother you. And I know y'all ain't gonna bother nobody, right? I know you're not. I know you're not. Um, Kicking It Williams says she's getting ready to retire in a year. They already approached me for the position. Okay, I just don't want the headache. I got it good now. I understand that. I understand that. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And then you never know. Kicking It with Lynn, keep it. Look, keep it however it's more comfortable for you. Keep it the way it is, and maybe by the time she retires, hey, you can get them to work it out to make that position exactly the way you want it to be. You really probably can, especially with people are they're already using you as a really really valuable asset. So you know she has a little bit of time before she retires, and maybe you may change your mind. But if not, keep it where it is. Keep it on an even keel for you. Sonia says we've been on here too long. I'm trying to go to bed early tonight. Yes, we're going to try to go to bed early tonight. We're not going to take anything. We're going to try to go to bed early tonight. And if you do have to take something, be wise with what you're taking. But we're going to try and go to bed early tonight. Love you, love you, love you. I love all of you guys. I was about to love you, Debbie Stevens. Love you, Kicking with Lynn, Sonya, everyone who came through. Sonya says, CNT, you are in my thoughts. Good night. Kicking with Lynn says, good night. I enjoy you all. We enjoyed you too, Miss Lynn. Thank you so much for coming through. Debbie says, good night. Good night, Sonya. Annie says, I am back. Look at Annie. Annie is back. Hearts from Debbie. Hearts from Annie. Thank you for coming back, Annie. I'm about to get out of here. I've been on here for 2.5 hours. I don't remember the last time I was on a live for 2.5 hours, but I'm going to do a live. I'm going to do a marathon. Maybe I'll do that. So if somebody doesn't, I should start at like 6 o'clock in the morning on my off day. If I go to bed early enough tonight, I may do it tomorrow. Start at 6 o'clock and see how long I go before I get tired or before everybody just says, look, you know what? This is too long. This is too long. Hopefully somebody new will come through. Of course, I would love for the old people who have been supporting to come through. And guys, please, 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 please support everybody who's been in this live. Kicking with Lynn is content creator. Sonya is a great supporter. Annie is a great supporter. Debbie is a great supporter. Um, I think it's someone new came in. Alex, welcome. I'm glad you came through. Come back again if you don't mind. Spiky. Please support Spiky. Yes, please support good, positive content. Even if it's content that's not really up your alley, it can be like a gamer or something like that. If they support you or they come in from time to time, if it's positive, please support the positive content creators because they have a hard time. They have a hard time sometimes reaching the goals. YouTube has changed some of the goals that you must reach, for monetization. But a lot of people aren't on here for that. They're just on here to have a good time, to connect with people, to, sometimes to kind of, this is their getaway. So please support positive people. Again, don't leave this app or any app with more stress than you came on here with. I hope you guys have a good night. Annie says, hi, Debbie Stevens. So guys, have a good night. Again, a great rest of your Wednesday, a great week. And I will see you guys tomorrow on the next Let's Walk and Talk Live. Bye, y'all.